Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Is Labour delaying democracy?
Reports say the government plans to postpone 4 key mayoral elections until 2028, a move that Reform UK is calling a blatant attempt to stop big wins for their party.
Well, the news unites as well, the Conservatives and the Lib Dems. They're calling it a disgrace.
Ministers are expecting to confirm the delays today, citing the need for more time to reorganise local authorities.
Safe in the country if just anyone can walk in. And I would also add what every Brit and every American these days unfortunately intuitively knows, which is that when you change the people who live in the country's values change too, the country's politics change too, the country's institutions change too.
A blunt warning from the United States as a leading Trump official tells GB News the UK's small boat crisis is putting the country at risk and changing our values.
A 3.3 magnitude earthquake shakes homes across northwest England, with residents describing the jolt as being so strong it shook the whole house.
Police could soon tap into the UK's entire passport database as ministers push to roll out facial recognition in every town, city and village to track down criminals. We'll debate that later.
Merthyr Tydfil, Labour's century-old stronghold, is now poised for a dramatic political shift, with Reform UK surging as locals voice anger over jobs, services and trust in politicians.
Well, the water's finally back on in Kent, but residents must boil every drop after South East Water warns that contamination risks have re-emerged.
And sport this morning, second Ashes test is underway in Brisbane, with England winning the toss and batting after losing 2 early wickets. Things are looking much better now, currently 94 for 2. Arsenal increased their lead at the top of the Premier League as Chelsea lose at Leeds, and Liverpool can only draw with Sunderland. And the draw for the Rugby World Cup's been made, even though it's 2 years away.
A bit of a damp start for many of us today, but it should get a little brighter with some winter sunshine on offer later. Tonight, a touch of frost and some fog, and there's more wet weather to come as we head towards the weekend. Join me later for a full forecast.
It's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Penny Smith, and this is GB News Breakfast.
I've only just, as we're reading it this morning, learned about that earthquake. 3.3.
3.3.
You'd notice that.
You certainly would. And I've been in an earthquake. And I genuinely thought it was a lorry that was outside. It was a pretty rubbish place that we're staying in Guatemala. This was when I was doing a bit of backpacking. As you do. No, honestly, I backpacked for such a long time. And I thought that there was a lorry outside the alleged kind of hotel that we were staying in, because everything was wobbling and everything. And it was only when I came out a bit later on to discover that some of the places had actually sort of slightly crumbled.
Oh.
And then I was in a bigger one a bit later on, and which is actually horrible. It's horrible to not. Well, there's something about kind of, and of course it's that thing about I don't know where to stand to be safe. I think that's
Must have been quite a big one. I mean, I've been in an earthquake in the northwest of England.
Have you indeed?
And it was. I mean, it was, the house did shake, but only enough to wake you up, and the bed was sort of going.
Yeah.
And my initial thought as I woke up was, it's the washing machine.
But that's what I mean. You always think it's something.
So
I've always slipped through the point when there's been
a little one.
There was one in Peterborough, and I know you worked there for a while. And it was the front page of the
Peterborough
Evening Telegraph.
Yep,
and it was very. It said Quake Rocks City was the next morning,
Nice.
and I was on the radio the next morning. And anyway, the news guy was there, and he's going, "Oh, there was been because it was a big story there."
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, yeah, there's been this," and then went, and they came running in and said, "Did you hear? Did you feel that?" And there's been another one. So he's gone on the news and said, "There's been another one." And did anybody feel it? Anyway, it turned out there were people working on the roof of the building, fixing a new aerial, and he's going, "And there's been another one," and it was like just, but there was Quake rocked the city.
If you've been affected by that, get in touch. gbnews.com/your say. It looked like it was sort of a bit north of Lancaster.
Yeah.
So it's going to get all the bottom end of Cumbria and Lancaster and Blackpool.
Oh, there'll be a lot of people feeling it, particularly. And there'll be clocks, really old-fashioned clocks with pendulums will have stopped because that's what they do. I know.
It's a worry. It is. Especially might have caused a bit of damage.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll keep fully across that one for you. But our main news this morning is about Reform UK accusing the government of attempting to stop them winning votes in the mayoral elections.
Yes, this comes after Labour announced their decision to postpone 4 of next year's elections by 4 years.
Well, across the House, MPs have criticised the government's decision, with the Lib Dems saying democracy delayed is democracy denied.
Is this government putting our democracy under threat?
All right, let's talk to political commentator, the former Immigration Minister, Kevin Foster. Kevin, morning to you.
Morning.
We are told these delays are necessary because of reorganisation within sort of local government regions. Do we buy that anymore at all?
Absolute rubbish. Remember, this is the elections they're talking about are for mayor. They're not for the councils that they're reorganising. This is for the mayor they're newly creating over the top. And let's remind ourselves how this started. But at this time last year, the government, then led by Angela Rayner in terms of this policy, announced with pretty much no consultation that they were going to abolish the two-tier structure in England, requiring reorganisation of councils, and everywhere in England was going to have a regionally elected mayor, and gave councils about 4 or 5 weeks, including Christmas, to put their preferred option forward. They then said that the first wave would be in May 26, with the further waves in probably 27 and maybe 28 to complete the process. They've now decided that the first wave instead is going to be in 2 years' time. There is no reason why the mayoral elections could not go ahead in this coming May, other than what looks like political cowardice.
Well, except you could actually alternatively just say that, the way that things go and how long everything takes, that actually it probably is. I mean, most things, as we probably know, are more mess up than conspiracy.
Well, with this, it's literally you could get a mayor elected, set up an office. Most local authorities had already been planning for the elections. There's no indication from any of the councils concerned that they would not be able to hold this poll in May if asked to and required to. It's then a mayor could be getting on with setting up their office, starting to work on the policy areas. Some of the candidates are already things like Police and Crime Commissioner, which the new mayor would take on in due course anyway. The government said they're going to abolish those in 2028. So having seen this, for example, been involved in the setup of the mayor for the West Midlands during a previous time I was involved with Coventry Council, there is no reason this couldn't be going ahead structurally in May, get a mayor in place, allow them to then get on with doing their job. What this strikes is where the current polls are.
Right, but the problem is that I can't get my head round is it just seems incredible, terrifying if true, that a government in this country is deliberately trying to stop democracy, stop our democratic voice. If that is the case, that is beyond scandalous.
It is, and this is actually quite an own goal for Labour, because in reality there's not huge demand for a regionally elected mayor in many of these areas. I think if we went out with Nigel into his constituency Clacton and asked people what their priorities, I can't imagine many would say, I really want an elected mayor of Essex. Come on, it's time we had one of those. So this is a bit of a self-inflicted wound for Labour, and there'll be certainly prospects on the Labour backbenches who'll be thinking yet another own goal for them. But this really, it is quite concerning. They've said they were going to hold these elections. They delayed county elections to have a new set of government and in these particular areas.
Well, they were being delayed twice, weren't they?
Well, possibly. They haven't yet said what they may... We're not yet hearing what they may do with the county election. They delay those again. You could have people who've been in office for 6 years as councillors, beyond even the maximum term for a general election. So it is concerning, but it points to probably just how dire some of Labour's polling is. Because people might think, well, Norfolk and Suffolk, Essex, those don't sound like areas the Labour Party traditionally does well. But in July last year, they won seats there. Places like South West Norfolk, places like Colchester. And a lot of these elections are declared in terms of their results. Yes, overall, whoever gets the thing wins, but by council area. So you'd be able to see if Labour came third in seats they held.
I suppose you could say, though, the thing is, they're delayed, not cancelled.
Well, that I think anyone would say, and I think Mr Putin might say, the fair elections are just delayed. This is a point. They said they would hold in May. Candidates are in place. Parties have selected in good faith. I can think of a couple of Conservative candidates that have been out campaigning for the mayoral election for the last couple of months. There's Reform candidates as well. Even the Green Party have selected people in the one for the councils, the mayoral, they think they might do well. So, again, there's no real reason beyond, I think, they've taken the view that probably take the hit for cancelling them is probably better than to take the hit publicity-wise for the likely outcomes.
We're expecting the announcement today. Does that mean it is a done deal, or will they listen to these concerns, do you think, and shelve this? Because it's one of those issues, and it's a bit like the immigration issue, which we saw bubbling up in the country. If they start doing this as well, isn't there a danger we're going to see people in this country finally lose their rag, run out of patience completely?
Well, I think people are pretty angry already, and we can think of stories like Essex, the Bell Hotel, Sussex is where Crowborough Barracks is. You can see there's a lot of anger out there, but if the Labour Party thinks delaying something 2 years is going to make it any better, I think they're going to find that it just makes voters all the more determined that when they do get a chance to vote, they vote for anyone but Labour.
Yeah, you see, you do wonder, as you just said earlier on, that do we want a mayor is not the first thing that people are thinking about when they're in their local area. So you do also wonder if it's just that they just go, right, OK, let's just not bother with that at the minute. We've got so many other plates to keep spinning at the moment that this is just one too many.
Yeah, this is something they set up. As I say, no local council has come forward to say they aren't ready to hold the election in May if required to. The actual setting up of a mayoral office is not something that would actually occupy too much of the government's time. It's a fairly simple bit of legislation.
6 months.
They've got 6 months. And, of course, this is something they set up. Ironically, a year ago, it was Labour, the government, that came out with this, probably thinking that some of these results might produce difficult headlines for the opposition, potentially trying to say, well, Reform might gain over the Conservative and traditionally Conservative areas. But now I suspect they're looking and saying, actually, some recent local council election results, some of these have been absolutely dire. Labour's been dropping from first to third in some council elections.
Just remind me, the mayor, so if you have a mayor, then you obviously still have a council. So if you have the council that is Labour-run and the mayor is, let's say, the Tory, just for argument's sake. So, how would that impact? What would the difference? How would it work?
Well, you can look at places like Teesside, where Ben Houchin is a Conservative mayor with Labour councils underneath. Generally, the mayor will be doing things like strategic regeneration. The government's, of course, talked about giving them some extra powers around things like potential tourism levies, although some mayors have said they won't do that, around transport. And at some point, they'll also take on policing as well, in the way Sadiq Khan is the Police and Crime Commissioner for London as the Mayor of London, whilst your local council does social services, bins, roads, a lot of your day-to-day services. Right. They're each got separate mandates. Andy Street worked with Labour councils during his time as well, and of course you've seen Labour mayors work with Conservative councils the other way round. So they each have their own mandate. If they can work together, it'll be better for both sides. But similarly, they can also disagree and say, actually, no, I've got a mandate and this is in my area of responsibility and I can take a policy forward even if either one or the other disagrees with it.
Yeah. A bit like an executive order sort of thing.
Well, you can already see it in London with councils like Bromley, traditionally Conservative, with the Mayor, Sadiq Khan. There'll be disagreements at times, but there'll also be things where actually it's an incentive to work together in the interests of everyone.
OK. Kevin, really good to see you. We will catch up with you a little bit later on. Thanks very much indeed.
It is time now for our daily reflection.
The GB News Advent Calendar, Day 4.
Hello, my name is Johnny Dade and I'm a vicar in the Church of England. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, you will find a sculpture of a muscular man with a hammer beating a sword into the shape of a plowshare. The sculpture is inspired by words from the Bible. The prophets speak of a day when God will come and bring peace and justice on the earth, when wars will cease, when weapons will be put beyond use. It's a powerful message, but you know, there was an irony there too, because that sculpture was donated to the United Nations in 1959 by the Soviet Union at the height of the arms race. So there's this disconnect there between aspiration and reality. Now, maybe the seasons of Advent and Christmas feel a bit like that to you. There's a disconnect between the familiar story of Jesus, his birth, light and life and love breaking into the world, and then the reality that we see unfolding on our TV screens day by day. But what I want to say is that Christmas is not wishful thinking, it's not naivety, it's not escapism. Christmas is a message of defiant hope. The birth of Jesus is about the setting of the world to rights. As the Christmas carol proclaimed, peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled.
Very nice. I think we all need a bit of hope, don't we, when things are looking grim.
We
It's
do.
a good thing to focus on, I think.
We do indeed. Yeah.
Right, now a leading Trump official has warned that the UK's small boats crisis is putting the country at risk.
The US Undersecretary of Public Diplomacy, Sarah B. Rogers, said that when people in a country change, so do the country's values.
Well, in an exclusive interview with our political editor, Christopher Hope, he pressed her on immigration and free speech. Let's have a listen.
Sarah Rogers, thank you for joining us today on GB News. Why are you here in the UK? Are you worried about freedom of speech in the home of Magna Carta?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be in the UK, which is my first official trip as Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy. So as Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy, I oversee America's diplomatic engagement with foreign publics, including the online public. And I'm in the United Kingdom because our two countries share great foundational freedoms that helped shape the post-war order to our benefit, that helped defeat communism to our benefit, and that birthed the system of self-government we enjoy. But those freedoms are in danger now because of a temptation to censor the internet. And I'm here to speak against that and to urge Brits, whom I know share America's fundamental desire to be a free society, to join us in that and help welcome new technology in a way that innovates through the current problems we're seeing in the communications sphere, rather than trying to put that innovation back in the bottle and censor everything.
OK, we'll come on to the Online Safety Act shortly. In this country, we've had people imprisoned for saying things on X, on Twitter. We have a comedian arrested, living in America, coming here. He's offended someone about a trans issue. He's arrested by armed police at the airport. What's going on?
Well, look, I think the way we explain it in America is that 250 years ago, our forefathers undertook the original Brexit. We split from the old world to claim new freedoms as citizens, not subjects. And America's first freedom, our most famous freedom, is freedom of speech enshrined in the First Amendment. Most countries don't share that constitutional bulwark, even though many countries, and I think the British people, share a fundamental desire to be free. But when you don't rigorously defend that right, even when it's inconvenient, even when the speech is offensive, you end up in these absurd scenarios where you have comedians arrested for tweets, priests arrested for silent prayer, grandmothers dragged out of their homes for criticizing gender ideology, and all manner of absurdities that I think good, thoughtful British people I've met with all reject these.
So why does the government here allow that to happen?
Well, that's a question for Britain, isn't it?
You know, you're also concerned in your administration about the small boats crisis on the south coast of this country. I know you're not talking about security today, but you are concerned maybe on a community cohesion level, because we don't know simply who's coming to this country.
I mean, look, nobody's safe in the country if just anyone can walk in. And I would also add what every Brit and every American these days, unfortunately, intuitively knows, which is that when you change the people who live in the country's values change too, the country's politics change too, the country's institutions change too.
And that's what you worry about, that cohesion level.
Yes, we have to care who comes into the country. We have to care who constitutes the country, because otherwise the foundational freedoms that we all staked out hundreds of years ago are not going to be long for this world.
Obviously, that was just a part of the interview. As you can see, it did actually go on after that.
Yeah, but it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, cohesion, the changing of our values. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad for our values to tweak a little bit over time and for things to change. You know, things do change.
Exactly.
But is it all changing too quickly?
Yeah.
I don't know. She makes some interesting points. The problem is, of course, it's coming from the States, and therefore, is anyone over here going to listen?
Yeah. Yeah, and as you say, I mean, you know, things change and sometimes it takes a while as well before things catch up.
Yes, a little bit, but I think, yeah. But
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just talking about, sorry, I was taking it into the wider space there about that sort of thing.
I think there are a lot of people who are just a bit uncomfortable with things at the moment, and that's where politicians and the public seem to be a little bit out of touch, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure you've got a view on that. But should we have a look at the weather for you today? I did notice today it was ever so slightly warmer.
Ever so slightly
Ever so
warmer.
slightly. It was a whopping 6 degrees when I left the house this morning.
Was it? My goodness, you must have
positively
been...
sweating.
I was going to say, you must have been in your T-shirt and shorts
Honestly.
in the usual manner.
Lovely. All right, but let's find out what's happening with Alex Deakin.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome along to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Bit of a dull, damp start for many today, but generally brightening up through the day, and we should see some sunny spells. It's a bit soggy, though, first thing, particularly for parts of Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland, some heavy bursts of rain here. Much of the Midlands, eastern England, staying dull and damp all morning, but brighter skies already popping up across parts of Wales and southwest England. But as well as a bit of sunshine, we are going to see a few showers drifting into these areas. By the afternoon, much of the Midlands becoming cheerier. Close to the east coast, it may well stay dull and damp for most of the day, and a bit chilly, certainly compared to recent days. Temperatures close to average, 7 to 9 degrees Celsius, but feeling cooler with the outbreaks of rain, which will linger perhaps across northeast Scotland well into the evening time. Elsewhere, we'll start to see more showers coming into southwest Scotland, but between the two, it should be a drier end to the day for southeastern parts of Scotland. Some clearer skies developing for a time in Northern Ireland, but notice there is more rain lurking out to the west. Much of England and Wales having a fine and dry evening, that rain finally pulling away from the east coast. But it will turn quite cold quite quickly. Certainly in the east, further west, there'll be more showers coming in this evening into West Wales. Some heavy bursts of rain again here, far from welcome because it's been so soggy recently. Further east, as I said, it will turn quite cold, and yes, there will be some frost forming across eastern areas. And as well as that, tonight we need to watch out for some fog across parts of central and eastern England in particular. Some dense patches of fog, quite possible for Friday morning's commute, so that may take a while to clear away. Generally, it's looking like things will brighten up a little on Friday, but then look at this, more rain coming in, and again, coming into areas that the ground is very soggy indeed. So this rain far from welcome as it piles into western areas during Friday, bringing with it gusty winds as well. It will turn milder, but also wetter as we head into the weekend.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, still to come, it is looking good for Arsenal as they increase their lead at the top of the Premier League. Paul Coit has all the details.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Brave.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
It is 6:26 and Paul Coit is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. There's cricket going on as we speak at this very moment, right now.
Really?
And it's at the Gabba.
Oh, it's at the Gabba.
The Gabba, well, do you know, I did mention this earlier this week, but I'm going to say it again because I like saying it. Do you know why it's called the Gabba?
No.
It's because they're all taught. They're gabba, gabba, gabba.
No. Or the old kids show from the about 2010, Yo Gabba Gabba. It's nothing to do with that either. It's the Brisbane suburb of Wooloon-Gabba.
Oh.
Right.
And that's why it's called the Gabba, because that's where it is, because everybody always talks about the Gabba and they call it the Gabbatoire because England, whenever England play there, England haven't won there since 1986. So that's why they call it the Gabbatoire.
How are we looking at the moment?
We're actually not looking too bad.
Oh, well, there you go.
It started
I like
off...
how quietly you said that.
Well,
for those
well,
who
you've got to
are-
be careful.
Yes, exactly. Well, I see it.
You know what it is,
Like
Penny?
Yeah.
No, it's like the gods of the road. I know, it's like the gods of the road. Never say, oh, the traffic seems to be really good, because we know they're listening and they're just suddenly going to...
Well, look, I can do it. I can just, like, so far, so good. No, I can't. I can't, just in case. So, anyway, it's a pink ball test. And the reason the ball is pink, I know there's going to be a lot of this, so we're going to go through it. The reason the ball is pink is because it's a day-night. Very good.
Oh,
and
yes.
so the reason...
Look at you!
So you need a luminescent ball.
But you can get a luminescent ball at any colour. Does it have to be pink?
It's because it's easier to see when the floodlights come on. So, normally it would be a red ball, but then when you have a day-night game, you keep the pink ball, because then when the floodlights come on, it's easier to see, because the red ball, you can lose it in the lights. Somehow, they're not red lights. But anyway, that's the reason.
Well, that's making me rethink my choice for the Christmas party. I won't go out in red, just in case I can't be seen.
Yeah,
that's right, exactly, because if the lights hit you, it's like, where's Penny? It's like, then that'll be the reason. So anyway, England then, it was very important that England win the toss. So the reason is because you want to bat first.
When it's still light.
Exactly, and then the thing is, when it starts getting to dusk, it gets a little dewy and the ball will move around a little more. So if you bat early, that's the best thing to do. So Ben Stokes did win the toss. So England batted first, and what happened? We lost a wicket immediately. So in the first over, Ben Duckett... By the way, I think he was screaming out his surname when he got out. I was just trying to work that out. Why are you saying your name? So anyway, Ben Duckett was out for... Okay, is this really bad? This is turning out... I go, right, take my mother-in-law. Someone, please. Well, I'm supposed to be doing the cricket. So Ben Duckett...
Do you know what? That seat's on wheels. Just give him a good...
Yes, I know. I'll just disappear. So Ben Duckett was out for a golden duck. Now, the difference between a duck and a golden duck?
Bigger feathers.
Well, a duck means you're out for nothing. You get out for zero, but a golden duck is the first ball. So the first ball you face. Pink balls, golden ducks, so he was out to Mitchell Starc. Then Ollie Pope went straight after that, so we were 5 for 2. This is a disaster, absolute disaster. But now, since then, things have looked very good. So they're now at tea, and we're now 98 for 2. So it's all looking good. See, Robin Smith, picture of Robin Smith there because he passed away early this week. So there was a tribute to him, which was very nicely done by the Australians. But there we are. So it's looking OK. There's Joe Root, has hit no hundreds in Australia in his career. He's on 32. Zach Crawley, I'm going to do another one, who got a pair in the first innings.
Did he?
Which
like a golden? Was it a golden pair?
No, it wasn't. It was just a pair. So he got naught in both innings. So now he's looking much better. So he's on 61, 98 for 2 at tea. So we're looking
That's
OK.
not bad.
I could have just told you the score and we could have done it.
You could have done, Paul. You could have done.
We'd have missed out all the gooses and the ducks.
The gooses and the gadders and the golden ducks.
All right, take us through what we saw in the Premier League yesterday.
Right, Arsenal scored a pair against Brentford. So they won 2-0. So they're 5 points clear. Looking very good. Leeds, how about this? Leeds beat Chelsea 3-1. Chelsea, you expected they're going to be challenging Arsenal. Leeds, who are down at the bottom, very big win for them. So that was good. Liverpool won, Sunderland won. So just when you think Liverpool are back, they probably should. That was at home.
At least it wasn't a loss.
It's true. At least it wasn't a loss. And there was a 7-goal thriller as Aston Villa beat Brighton 4-3. Poor Wolverhampton Wanderers still on only 2 points, and they lost as well. So there we are.
Lots of goals, though.
Yeah, lots of goals, lots of runs, lots of sport. It's all very exciting.
OK, lovely. Paul, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you later.
Pleasure.
Time for a brand new Great British giveaway and your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. It is an incredible £85,000 in tax-free cash. 85.
It's a lot of money.
It is. Could be yours. Here are all the details.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays. Yes to treats. Yes to shopping trips. Yes to home improvements. What would you say yes to? For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Oh, yes, good luck. What a lovely prize that'd be for the new year, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it nice? Wouldn't it be nice?
Ooh. Right, now, if you're travelling to work or school this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Travellers should be aware that the M8 is experiencing restrictions in both directions at junction 30 due to an incident involving a pedestrian. Additionally, the A494 is closed in both directions near Bala due to an unfortunate accident. Surrey's A3 southbound exit slip to the A244 is facing congestion, but conditions are expected to normalise soon today. Remember, for those taking the train, there's disruption on the Great Western Railway between Liscard and Looe, and Northern Services have buses replacing trains between Corkicle and Whitehaven. Stay safe and plan your journey carefully. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Still to come, Tory leader Kemi Badenoch claims Keir Starmer is on a mission to crush our high streets.
Ooh, that and more with Claire Muldoon and Christophe Foufas in the papers in just a moment.
Yeah.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here. GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device, and as long as you have an internet connection. Tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's 6:36 and it's time for the papers with the broadcaster Christo Foufas and the political commentator Claire Muldoon.
Good morning.
To you both. Claire, let's start with the Sun, should we? That news that broke late last night about looks like the mayoral elections in 4 places are going to be delayed.
Yeah, until 2028. We wonder why that is. Let me tell you actually where they are, and then we'll dig deeper into why Starmer might have delayed that. They are Greater Essex, Norfolk and Suffolk, Hampshire and the Solent, and Sussex and Brighton. Right. These are new mayoral constituencies that are going to be made up, and they're also very, 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 very much on the reform eyesight, which they're really heading for. So we think Starmer now is playing another Starmer blinder, where he wants to diminish the power of reform, diminish people wanting to vote for them by actually letting people wait, really, until these new elections come, until these new mayoral constituents really come to the fore. Because these will be more devolved in powers than most. You will need to get your mayor, they will be in charge of more money. The Labour are framing it that they will actually begin to bring in more business infrastructure, which of course everyone wants, because in Reeves's budget there was very little headroom, there we go, another one of our words there, to actually manoeuvre any flux of business into the country, into communities and into localised areas where local people know what local people need.
My question with this, though, would be if it is a political move in that sense, if it is denying democracy, surely that would in some way be illegal, wouldn't it? Is it unconstitutional, if we're in the States at least?
Yeah, but I think they're getting round it by the fact they're not actually made yet. These areas haven't actually been made, and that's why.
Introduced, so it's not a case of actually stopping something that's happened. It's actually a case of
delaying
and delaying until a bit further along. And you could argue, depends on which side of the fence you are, you could either argue that it's because in the future they think that things might have settled and things might have got better for the Labour Party. On the other hand, you could also say, you know, it's because, as you've said, Claire, you know, the fact that it's about looking where the wind lies and going in up.
Why do we need more bureaucracy and more elected officials and an elected mayor? So what Labour have done here is they've come up with something that no one asked for in areas that didn't want it or request it. They've made a complete pig's ear of it. So even though it was their own idea, they've still managed to screw it up. So I don't think there'll be a huge uproar about it because I don't think anyone asked for it. And I just don't know why they are obsessed with more layers of government. Has any area got better by having more layers of government, more mayors?
It's a very Thatcherite policy, given, you know, the power away, devolved power, actually, away from central government.
I think that's the opposite of Thatcherite, I would argue. I would say that Thatcherite was very central government. It was very Blairite. Blairite wanted to sort of devolve everywhere and give everywhere mayors. Thatcher was like, no. Downing Street. That's where everything comes from. And if she were alive today, we wouldn't be in the mess that we're in. We could have her running everything from Downing Street. You've mentioned my trigger word. You know, Thatcher is my trigger word.
Is that the trigger
That's the trigger word, because then I go in a pro-Thatcher rant, which is good for any time of the day, if you ask me. And I tell you what she would be doing. She would be helping the high street, because because the front page of today's Express, Starmer's mission to crush our high streets. Now, this is Kemi Badenoch, of course, the Conservative leader, who I think seems to have got into her stride lately. And she is saying that Sir Keir Starmer is on a mission to crush high street hospitality. Now, this was after the budget, where they told everyone that they were getting a rate cut in the budget, but then on the same day, they recategorised some of the rates to include the size and the value of the property, meaning that, yes, on paper, some people should have got a cut, but because of the change in categorisations, it actually meant that people's rates went up. So many of these businesses, many hospitality businesses, many are saying today, look, you know, like Tim Rummy, the chief executive of Best Western Hotels, said that this tax is leaving the sector fighting for its life. Kemi Badenoch has said that the fact that many hotels are going to struggle to survive, some of these businesses are seeing their rates go up by 182%. So on one hand, you've got the government, you know, I just wonder whether there was any part of this budget that was actually based in reality, because they're telling us that it was a rate cut, but actually people could be paying up to 200% more.
I mean, it's absolute smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
Isn't it? And
gaslighting.
And they've got rid of a lot of these exemptions, or rate exemptions, so that...
Well, the COVID exemptions for hospitality are finishing in April, and that was up to 40% off. And retailers, whilst they won't feel that bulge, that increase as much when the rate is removed, it's the pubs. Our local pubs are going to be really fearsome of it.
Pubs, the sad thing about pubs, as an ardent pub goer, excuse me, the sad thing about pubs is that actually the reason why I don't go and spend quite as much in the pubs is because the price of the beer is so expensive, whereas you can actually get beer so much cheaper at the supermarket. And that is from a long time ago, when all of a sudden you had to pay more in a pub where people can keep an eye on you than the other way.
Why don't they it's so despairing, because don't they understand that if they actually slashed this stuff, then what it would mean is that you would go to the pub more, people would go, they might get per beer a bit less tax, but you might have free beers as opposed to two.
It's counterintuitive. It's the same argument with lower or flatter taxes.
Yes, because
there'd be this huge outpouring of anger from some people saying...
From the backbenchers.
It's better, you know, what you're doing is rewarding the rich, but actually what you do is bringing more income for the country.
Actually
go to the high street. Sorry, go on.
Gove called it levelling up, but I would say it's actually empowering the working person. This particular working person that Starmer et al. Are supposed to be helping, are supposed to be underpinning, are supposed to be getting, you know, community back. And that is what the local pub had as well.
We're just going to take a quick break there and go to the European weather.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Heavy rain and strong winds across the eastern end of the Mediterranean, bringing some pretty heavy downpours across parts of Greece in particular during Friday, but also southern parts of Turkey with those gusty winds. Showers again for southern Italy, particularly for Sardinia and Sicily. The east coast of Spain and the Balearics looking largely dry and fine on Friday, and plenty of sunshine across the Canaries. That will continue as we head through the weekend, and things should calm down in Greece during the weekend as well.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Nana Queer, weekends from 3 p.m.
And I'm going to start with you. Talk to me about autism and why you got involved with this, because some people don't know the story as to why you set up Anna Kennedy Online.
Well, I have two sons. They're now 32 and 35, and I'm proud to say that my eldest son, Patrick, is in Stockholm at the moment on his own, so that's like a big step for him to go on holiday, and he's loving it. So they both were diagnosed fairly young, and the support at the time was just non-existent.
Yeah.
So we had to set up our own school, and then we set up a vocational college for my youngest son, Angelo.
Now, how do you know that they're autistic? Is there a blood test? Is it something where you have a list of symptoms? Or because some people say, oh, I've got ADHD and this and that, and I think sometimes people conflate it with autism. Are there parallels with the two, or are they totally separate? Because it's confusing.
They're very different from each other, both Patrick and Angelo. So Angelo was diagnosed fairly early at 2.5, 3. He passed all the milestones, and then he just lost everything. His speech, eye contact, didn't want to be touched, didn't even want me to hug him at the time, running from one end of the room to the other, squealing, and it was just like, what is going on? And as a mum, you're thinking, what have I done wrong? Have I done something wrong?
Oh, no.
Patrick was diagnosed fairly early again, but he was premature, and I thought the difficulties that he was having because he was 11 weeks premature, I thought, is it because he had a bit of a difficult start, in and out of hospital. And then he was diagnosed at 4, and then we found out when he was 7, when he was struggling at school. He was finding school difficult, being bullied. So it's an autism spectrum condition, and if you feel that there might be, something that I'm not quite sure, I can't get a handle on it, please go and see your GP and just ask for your child to be assessed. But the difficulty at the minute is the waiting list is so long to get a diagnosis.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Queer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun. Oh, no, you didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Are merging their mayoral thing. Run for mayor.
Chris
Oh, you might.
hasn't.
Oh, so we're just talking about my retirement plans.
Goodness sake, honestly, he's so far ahead of himself. Anyway,
Not that far.
Krista and Claire have got more stories to talk about.
Yes.
Claire, I wanted to talk about this because these pictures are chilling.
Oh.
This is...
Which one's that?
Which one's
this is
the
one about
raccoon or Epstein?
Epstein's Island lair.
It's just awful. It really is a house of depravity. But did we think anything less would actually appear? We've got a dental room with a chair with really strange masks that are not unlike gargoyles hanging from the walls.
Oh no, that's not. That's the.
Well, that's the other one. That's a. We've seen. Yeah, that's. Oh, and there's. Well, we're just.
This is the weird thing with a. That is the one with a 4-poster bed, but with no curtains or anything, so it's just poles.
Right, we've also got, for our listeners on radio, we've also got a sitting room with a huge big blackboard that looks like something out of an Agatha Christie, where power and deception are written on the blackboard. We don't know if they're written contemporaneously after Epstein was jailed and subsequently died. There's a roller decks full phone there with some redacted names on it. The whole thing looks really, really sordid, actually, but it looks haunting. That's what I'm taking away from this. Everything is clinically put away. I mean, even the beds are still dressed, believe it or not.
I tell you what, if I was being invited to a multi-millionaire's fancy private island or whatever, I'd expect it to look a bit fancier than this. The whole thing looks weird.
Oh, exactly. Come to my beautiful Caribbean island. Here's a dental chair and some really creepy masks on the wall. It's so odd. Those masks are horrible.
Yeah, they're like gargoyles.
Why would you think to put them up on the wall?
Yeah.
Horrible.
I mean, there's something... Clearly there was something very, very disturbed about him.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot more to come out. There really is.
I mean, this is the problem. It's going to be absolutely terrifying, isn't it?
Well, I hope it does.
Well, we need to know.
For the victims, we really, really have to know.
Christo.
Yes.
The police
ID.
to access pass. This is on the front page of the front page of the Daily Telegraph police plan.
Yeah, it's in a lot of the. It's inside the Times. It's also in the Express. Has made a few of the papers today, but it's the headline on the Telegraph: police plan for Face ID in every town. So yes, you won't just be carrying your own sort of ID, digital ID and all of that. No, an ID card. They want to have facial ID as well. Police will be given access to Britain's passport database to catch criminals under an expansion of facial recognition technology. Labour proposing police could compare photos of crime suspects from CCTV, doorbells and dash cams against facial images on government databases, and that would include all of our passports, 45 million passports.
That's all right. We look nothing like our passport pictures.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I look awful. I was in such a grump, and I dyed my hair red. It had gone wrong. No, the whole thing was a mess. I was very grumpy. I got a red nose. No, when I went in,
I'd like
it was
to see
very
this.
cold. Oh, I
sounds like you're in fancy dress.
But the deeper question here really is who's going to own the storage of that data?
And who's going to look after it
That's the
as well?
biggest question. It's called horizon planning. And if all of that data is bought, because it will have to be bought by some list, some data list, where will it be stored and who is owning that?
How safe will it be because of the fact that, you know, we know about cyber attacks?
Yes, of course, Penny.
And that's the problem.
But also,
called Horizon frightens me slightly.
Yeah,
after the post office.
the post office. But also, then will they sell that data in some way? Will they sell it to firms saying, "Oh, well, you know what? We've got 17 million people with brown eyes. We've got, you know, all of this."
But this has got to be the thing. This is about. I mean, this is a consultation, right? And there's got to be laws in place to prevent that happening, so this cannot be commercialised. I don't think...
But it will be.
We're debating it a little bit later on, and one of the people who's in favour of this is Peter Blacksley. I know a lot of you really respect what Peter has to say. He says it's good. It's good for protecting us. It's good for cracking down on crime. But I know he will. It's all about the safety measures.
Yes, it really, really is.
And is this the slow march towards? Because other campaigners are saying, as the article alludes to, that will we end up with supermarkets having access to it, with department stores having access to it, all of these different places. China.
I think
that's what's going to be stopped.
Yeah. I think that's
they could keep. Oh, I tell you what, we'll keep all of the hard drives with all of the photos on. We'll do it in the basement of their new embassy. Got loads of room down there, so we'll put it all in there. It'll be safe down there.
It'll be. I mean, a lot of the things you see with a lot of technology now, and it can be built in where stuff is scanned and deleted, so that you're
still goes somewhere.
No, it doesn't. If it's deleted, it's sort of immediately. If it doesn't pick you up on a recognition thing, there's a wanted person, it can be instantly deleted. Now, but whether you trust that or not is another matter, but that's what they're like.
Yeah, and the thing is that you, on the other side of it, on the good side of it, when you look at some of the stories today saying, you know, if you've got nothing to fear, then there's not a problem about it, and you could get rid of prolific shoplifters. You could find you could find the criminals. You could identify them. Look at the Notting Hill Carnival, for example, where they did facial recognition, and you know, whilst things still go on, it's so much easier to pick it up. So you look at that side.
I can see you two look really worried about this. So let's all get sozzled.
Oh, this is a great
story. Should we just get drunk?
Oh, okay, what? So then we won't look anything like our photos because our faces.
This is the raccoon.
This is what a Christmas party, eh?
This is
what a Christmas party. How many of us have remembered the nights back in the 70s, 80s, 90s? Well, I was too young in the 70s to do it. Lying next to the toilet after a Christmas night out. Here is a story in the Daily Star today. Of course, it's the Star. Rack and ruined, the headline line is, and we see pictures of a raccoon laid absolutely straight down, face down, in front of near a toilet. And after what's happened, he's broken into a hardware store. The bandits smashed bottles, trashed the ceiling and left pools of alcohol all over the floor before passing out. And indeed, the detritus of all the open whiskey bottles, brandy bottles, gosh, it looks like a great night out has been had.
And he's absolutely sozzled. He's going to have a hangover this morning, poor little lamb. But he's had a really good night. He's had a great night.
I identify.
Yes.
And I have been that.
Been there, done that, Christopher.
I have. I am that raccoon.
All right, you two. Thank you very much indeed. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get the weather now.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome along to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Bit of a dull, damp start for many today, but generally brightening up through the day, and we should see some sunny spells. It's a bit soggy though, first thing, particularly for parts of Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland, some heavy bursts of rain here. Much of the Midlands, eastern England staying dull and damp all morning, but brighter skies already popping up across parts of Wales and southwest England. But as well as a bit of sunshine, we are going to see a few showers drifting into these areas. By the afternoon, much of the Midlands becoming cheerier. Close to the east coast, it may well stay dull and damp for most of the day, and a bit chilly, certainly compared to recent days. Temperatures close to average, 7 to 9 degrees Celsius, but feeling cooler with the outbreaks of rain, which will linger perhaps across northeast Scotland well into the evening time. Elsewhere, we'll start to see more showers coming into southwest Scotland, but between the two, it should be a drier end to the day for southeastern parts of Scotland. Some clearer skies developing for a time in Northern Ireland, but notice there is more rain lurking out to the west. Much of England and Wales having a fine and dry evening, that rain finally pulling away from the east coast. But it will turn quite cold quite quickly. Certainly in the east, further west, there'll be more showers coming in this evening into West Wales. Some heavy bursts of rain again here, far from welcome because it's been so soggy recently. Further east, as I said, it will turn quite cold, and yes, there will be some frost forming across eastern areas. And as well as that, tonight we need to watch out for some fog across parts of central and eastern England in particular. Some dense patches of fog quite possible for Friday morning's commute, so that may take a while to clear away. Generally, it's looking like things will brighten up a little on Friday, but then look at this, more rain coming in, and again, coming into areas that the ground is very soggy indeed. So this rain far from welcome as it piles into western areas during Friday, bringing with it gusty winds as well. It will turn milder, but also wetter as we head into the weekend.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for our more than 2 million YouTube subscribers and more than 2 billion views. That is Britain watching, sharing and making its voice heard louder than ever before.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. A collision on the A82 south of Drumnadrochit affects traffic in both directions. The A494 near Bala is closed due to an accident. In Surrey, a collision on the M23 southbound between junction 8 and 9 has closed 2 lanes. Relief is anticipated as conditions should normalise this morning. In Cheshire, the M6 southbound between junction 18 and 17 is delayed with 1 lane closed due to a broken down vehicle. And on the trains, Great Western Railway is disrupted between Liskeard and Looe, and Northern buses replace trains between Corkickle and Whitehaven. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Good morning. Is Labour delaying democracy?
Reports say the government plans to postpone 4 key mayoral elections until 2028, a move that Reform UK is calling a blatant attempt to stop big wins for their party.
Well, it's not just Reform, actually. The Conservatives and the Lib Dems are angry too. They've called it a disgrace.
Ministers are expecting to confirm the delays today, citing the need for more time to reorganise local authorities.
Safe in the country if just anyone can walk in. And I would also add what every Brit and every American these days unfortunately intuitively knows, which is that when you change the people who live in the country's values change too, the country's politics change too, the country's institutions change too.
A blunt warning from the US as a leading Trump official exclusively tells GB News that the UK's small boat crisis is putting the country at risk and changing our values.
In northwest England, a 3.3 magnitude earthquake has shaken homes, with residents describing a jolt so strong that it shook the whole house.
Police could soon tap into the UK's entire passport database as ministers push to roll out facial recognition in every town, city and village to track down criminals.
Merthyr Tydfil, Labour's century-old stronghold, is now poised for a dramatic political shift, with Reform UK surging as locals voice anger over jobs, services and trust in politicians.
Well, the water's back on for thousands of homes in Kent, but if you're there, you've got to boil every drop. South East Water warns contamination risks are there.
And in sport this morning, second Ashes test underway at the Gabba in Brisbane, with England winning the toss and batting after losing 2 early wickets. Now, listen, I've got to tell you, it says things are looking pretty good now, and I'm about to tell you that they're 122 for 2, and the moment I've said that, it's now 122 for 3, and now it's my fault, so I'm not going to mention it anymore. Arsenal increase their lead at the top of the Premier League as Chelsea lose and Liverpool can only draw with Sunderland.
What's that in English?
And the draw for the Rugby World Cup has been made, even though it's 2 years away.
A bit of a damp start for many of us today, but it should get a little brighter with some winter sunshine on offer later. Tonight, a touch of frost and some fog, and there's more wet weather to come as we head towards the weekend. Join me later for a full forecast.
It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Penny Smith, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Well, go on.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, you know, earlier on when we were talking about how you shouldn't say things out loud because all of a sudden the kind of, you know...
Put the mockers on it.
You put the mockers on it and everything, and I was talking about the gods of the road. You've only got to say, look at that lovely clear road, hasn't it been an easy trip? Before all of a sudden diverted, roads blocked, everything
That's why I was talking quietly when I gave the score, so it was going good. And then literally, it was a second ago. It happened as I was in the middle of that mess.
But do you know what? In the olden days, you'd have turned around and you'd have had a barley twist, wouldn't you? On the road, I mean.
Yes.
You'd have had a barley twist.
What is that, a dance or is that a food? What is that?
It's a sweet, and I'm just wondering if they even have them anymore, because they had didn't they have a sort of, ever so vaguely, a kind of licoricey taste, or am I going...
No, you're going mad there.
Oh, am I? Okay.
I don't think they were licoricey.
No, there's a sweetie sort of...
Yeah, it's a sweetie.
They are barley, aren't they? But the twist is probably so difficult to make, they'll probably stop making them.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I would imagine.
It's called the barley twist.
Was there another thing for a barley twist? And what have you found? The Barley Mow, that's a very good pub.
Right, okay. No, I can't find any barley with...
Barley twist.
Barney McGrew?
Yeah, you can still buy them.
OK, well, they didn't look like that. Those are bright orange. No, we never had a bright orange barley.
No, it's because it was probably darker light. There was a brighter... If you hold it up to the light, they were always bright orange. Yeah. But you have to hold it up to the light. You were probably just like going out and shoveling it without looking at them properly.
I just preferred that to avert as original. Anyway.
Avert as original?
Avert as original.
I think you're all suffering from workplace anxiety. Do you mind me saying?
Is that what it is?
You've got workplace anxiety.
Yes, always. Just general, yeah.
Well, you're not on your own
now than I had just now.
68% of under 29s have got workplace anxiety.
Right.
And do you know what it is? What's causing it?
Lack of barley twists.
No, not a lack of barley twists. It's because they are scared to make phone calls in the office in front of colleagues.
Oh, yeah, this is the Gen Z thing.
The Gen Z thing. They don't like to make phone calls in public.
No, they don't.
Hold on, so I'm trying to understand.
All right, yes.
Is this to do with the work phone calls?
Yeah, they don't.
That they don't want to do?
They just don't want to speak.
Right.
In front of their other.
Is this generally at call centres? If you've got that?
No, but any office. I mean, any old newsroom on the phone. You remember doing the calls in the morning around the police? It's embarrassed to talk on the phone in front of other people.
I think it's also because I was talking to somebody about this a while ago, and they were saying they don't. It's not just about being in public. They don't like answering phones full stop, because they don't know what they're going to say, so they don't know how they're going to respond. So they don't. So they like doing emails and texts because then they can have a think about it.
When you answered a phone years ago, did you used to give your phone number out?
Yes.
Yep.
England 40552. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
To make sure that people knew that it was the right one.
Because they're...
Crossed wires, who knows?
Yeah, because that was always the welcome, wasn't it?
Now you just answer the phone and someone will say, is that Matt Smith? And you go, no, you think you've got the wrong number. No, it is Matt Smith. I know that's some blooming calls.
I'm sorry, you've got the wrong number. I don't know why I'm apologising.
If you try that with you, if you're watching and listening and you've had calls like that and they're really aggressive with you, the reason they do all that is so you then say, no, this is Stephen Dixon. So they get information.
You see, I have taken to doing that thing of, if I think it's a number I don't recognise or anything else, I actually just answer the phone and I don't say anything until they start speaking.
Right, yes. It's the way to do it. They're all mad. It's horrid.
Yeah.
Anyway, right,
have a barley twist and that's it.
Our main news today is about Reform UK accusing the government of trying to stop them winning votes in a new raft of mayoral elections.
Yeah, this is because Labour announced the decision to postpone 4 of next year's election by... it's until 2028.
Well, yeah, so it's another 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, across the House, MPs have criticised the government's decision. The Lib Dems saying democracy delayed is democracy denied.
Yeah, the question is the government putting our democracy under threat?
Well, let's talk to political commentator, former Immigration Minister Kevin Foster. I mean, not only is democracy under threat, is the government just shooting itself in the foot again?
Absolutely. This is a completely self-inflicted own goal. Mayors in these areas scroll back a year ago, the government suddenly announces we're going to scrap two-tier local government in England and we're going to require every bit of England to have an elected mayor in the way London, the bigger cities, does.
Yeah.
And they gave councils a few weeks to come up with a plan if they wanted to be part of the first wave, which will be elected next May. And that few weeks included Christmas. Now they're saying, actually, on second thoughts, we're going to delay it for 2 years. And it all reeks of the idea that they thought this might be advantageous, potentially actually even wanting the Conservative Party, perhaps been embarrassed in some of its heartlands by losses to either Reform or the Lib Dems. But now it's perhaps looking at its own internal polling, saying just how terribly Labour might do in some of these areas, and has probably decided, actually, do you know what, this is a kicking we could do without.
So you think it's how it would look rather than how it would actually affect the people in those areas?
Yes, let's be clear. If we got on a train now, went out to Essex or up to Norfolk and said to people, bet you're looking forward to having a regional elected mayor, most people would look at you like, what? What are you on about? So this isn't something that we see huge public demand for, But it's something the government's been very keen on, and you know the previous Conservative government as well has been keen on mayors. But it's something that's had been coming probably for a while, although less so in some of the county areas. And if people are sitting at home thinking, well, actually, hang on, Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, Sussex, those are places where Labour don't do that well anyway. But actually, if we look at what happened last year, there's a number of quite marginal Labour seats. These results of elections might be decided overall, but the results of votes are declared by council area. So you could easily see a marginal Labour seat where Labour comes third in a vote.
Yeah. The Lib Dems, right, when they say democracy delayed is democracy denied?
They are, because, you know, if you just delay off elections because they might be inconvenient, then that actually is about denying the opportunity. You know, I'm clear the Conservative Party should be much stronger earlier this year in rejecting the idea of delaying county council elections. Of course, these areas are those affected. And it's right, and I see a very different statement from James Cleverly this morning than perhaps what we saw 8-9 months ago. He's been very clear, no, this is completely wrong, this should go ahead. And yes, these might be awkward. You know, Essex has got Kemi Badenoch's seat in it. You know, there is a risk there for the opposition as well. But we should be absolutely clear these should go ahead. The government wanted these mayors. They wanted to have these elections. There's no reason they shouldn't be going ahead.
Because there have been some very successful mayors, haven't there? For example, Andy Burnham. I think many people think that he's been very successful as the mayor of Greater Manchester. What has he been there, 8 years or so? And transport, for example, has changed there because of him actually having more of a sort of perhaps a global look at things.
Yeah, you could certainly cite what Andy Burnham's done. I'm going to say some of my family who live in Greater Manchester are actually traditionally Labour supporters, aren't massive fans of Andy Burnham. But, yes, you can look at things he has done as Mayor of Greater Manchester, and similarly you could say about Ben Houchin in Teesside, a Conservative Mayor, and Steve Rotherham, a Labour Mayor in Merseyside. You can point at things they've done. Will that transfer well into a more spread-out county area where you've got larger rural areas? We're yet to see. You know, Andrew Jenkins will perhaps be an example of that in Lincolnshire, where perhaps an area where you haven't just got one big urban conurbation that someone's got been a mayor for, so people be able to judge that record there. But this still just smacks that this isn't being done for practicality. You know, no council there has said they couldn't get this election on in May. The mayor could then, once elected, could set up their office, start getting on with delivering policies as elected. This all smacks of the fact that the Labour Party is probably looking at what's about to happen in May and with absolute horror.
You see, interestingly, I mean, before this news broke, when I was visiting some people on the South Coast, actually, on Monday, and they said to me, we don't think, you know, we're overdue our local elections, because they were held back last time, and they have no confidence they're going to happen this May at all anyway.
No, well, this is...
So, this is, which is hugely concerning.
It is. That you could see, if the local elections were delayed again, that would mean councillors having a term of up to 6 years. You know, councillors elected for a 4-year term in 2021, potentially still being in office in early 2027 without having had an election to confirm that. So it is concerning. And of course, we'll wait to see what the government does. Do they delay again the local elections in these areas, for which there's no real justification?
Just very briefly, is there anything that can be done about this within the sort of framework of the House of Commons?
It's more difficult. Certainly, I think if the government puts down motions, certainly this is perhaps where it'll be interesting to see what the House of Lords does, because in the Commons, Labour's got more than enough MPs, including MPs for these areas who'd probably be quite happy to avoid a disastrous night at the polls for them. It pretends potentially if they have to get an SI through the House of Lords, that may be where things may change.
SI, remind me?
Sorry, statutory instrument, a piece of secondary legislation, normally more technical, normally less controversial, but on something like this, certainly if Conservative and Liberal Democrat peers voted together in the House of Lords, they could potentially block this, and it'd be absolutely right to do so if they can.
All right, Kevin, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Now, it's 12 minutes past 7 and a leading Trump official has warned that the UK's small boat crisis is putting the country at risk.
The US Under-Secretary of Public Diplomacy, Sarah B. Rogers, says that when the people in a country change, so do the country's values.
Well, in an exclusive interview with our political editor, Chris Hope, he pressed her on immigration and freedom of speech.
Sarah Rogers, thank you for joining us today on GB News. Why are you here in the UK? Are you worried about freedom of speech in the home of Magna Carta?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be in the UK, which is my first official trip as Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy. So as Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy, I oversee America's diplomatic engagement with foreign publics, including the online public. And I'm in the United Kingdom because our two countries share great foundational freedoms that helped shape the post-war order to our benefit, that helped defeat communism to our benefit, and that birthed the system of self-government we enjoy. But those freedoms are in danger now because of a temptation to censor the internet. And I'm here to speak against that and to urge Brits, whom I know share America's fundamental desire to be a free society, to join us in that and help welcome new technology in a way that innovates through the current problems we're seeing in the communications sphere, rather than trying to put that innovation back in the bottle and censor everything.
OK, we'll come on to the Online Safety Act shortly. In this country, we've had people imprisoned for saying things on X, on Twitter. We have a comedian arrested, living in America, coming here. He's offended someone about a trans issue. He's arrested by armed police at the airport. What's going on?
Well, look, I think the way we explain it in America is that 250 years ago, our forefathers undertook the original Brexit. We split from the old world to claim new freedoms as citizens, not subjects. And America's first freedom, our most famous freedom, is freedom of speech enshrined in the First Amendment. Most countries don't share that constitutional bulwark, even though many countries, and I think the British people, share a fundamental desire to be free. But when you don't rigorously defend that right, even when it's inconvenient, even when the speech is offensive, you end up in these absurd scenarios where you have comedians arrested for tweets, priests arrested for silent prayer, grandmothers dragged out of their homes for criticizing gender ideology, and all manner of absurdities that I think good, thoughtful British people I've met with all reject these.
So why does the government here allow that to happen?
Well, that's a question for Britain, isn't it?
You know, you're also concerned in your administration about the small boats crisis on the south coast of this country. I know you're not talking about security today, but you are concerned maybe on a community cohesion level, because we don't know simply who's coming to this country.
I mean, look, nobody's safe in the country if just anyone can walk in. And I would also add what every Brit and every American these days, unfortunately, intuitively knows, which is that when you change the people who live in the country's values change too, the country's politics change too, the country's institutions change too.
And that's what you worry about, that cohesion level.
Yes, we have to care who comes into the country. We have to care who constitutes the country, because otherwise the foundational freedoms that we all staked out hundreds of years ago are not going to be long for this world.
And just a reminder that you can watch the Late Show live every night from midnight here on GB News.
All right, let's talk to US political commentator who happens to be originally from the US, we should say, Jennifer Powers. Jennifer, good morning to you. I mean, you've been over here a very, very long time. But the US Undersecretary there has got a point, hasn't she? I mean, it's actually a pretty sort of common sense point that if you change the type of person, the nationality of people in a country, you change the nature of the country. I don't know why we've not said it before.
Yeah, I think what's so interesting about this Trump administration is that it's really on the front foot with regard to making the case for strong borders, making the case for freedom of speech. Sarah's appointment as Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy is just the quintessential MAGA appointment. She only came into the job about 8 weeks ago, but she's already on her first foreign trip, the UK being the first stop on a European tour. And she has a background as a lawyer and a free speech advocate. She's actually defended freedom of speech online. She's worked against the politicization of policing and even on debanking. So all topics that GB News viewers would be very well aware of. And so she's really on the front foot making the case that weak borders and mass migration are a threat, an existential threat to Western civilization.
The fact that she made the UK the first stop is that, I mean, obviously we are, if you're flying from America, we pretty much are the first place that you stop at. Is that why, or is there another reason?
I think there's more to it. I think that the administration is prioritising her early visits on European countries that they see as key allies. And in the interview, you know, she talks about those fundamental values which she feels that many European countries share with the United States, even if, you know, we in the UK don't have the First Amendment, freedom of speech, in the same way that we as a people value freedom of speech. And I just think it's fascinating. It's a very muscular approach to foreign policy, but also to making the case for American values. And, you know, the link here, and people may ask, well, why is she going on about this? Why does the Trump administration care? And they see a through line between weak borders, mass migration, lack of community cohesion, to instability in Britain and elsewhere, which makes their allies weaker and therefore has a negative impact on American national security. So at the end of the day, it is self-interest, but they're seeing the stability and prosperity of European allies as part of American self-interest.
I mean, traditionally, we don't like other nations sticking their nose in, right? But at the moment, when you know, Trump is effectively saying through his proxy there, you know, we don't like what's going on with immigration. We heard the other day they don't like what's going on with the reduction in jury trials and all this. I mean, they're not afraid to get stuck in. At a time when a lot of people in this country are concerned about it as well, it's almost a welcome intervention.
I know, it's such a departure from traditional US foreign policy and perhaps foreign relations more generally, and I feel a little conflicted by it because I feel I have a lot of sympathy for some of the points that Sarah was making and that the Trump administration, you know, and others who've raised these concerns. But on the other hand, as a British citizen and you know, someone who's lived here for nearly 3 decades, you know, one, you know, steps back and thinks, okay, why does the Trump administration have such strong views about the internal politics of Britain? But again, they see it as directly linked to the US's own national interest and national security.
Jennifer, thank you very much, Jennifer Powers, political commentator, US political commentator. Well, why
from
not?
the US.
US and British.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You're more British than American
commentator
now.
on the US.
Well, yes. Well, sort of.
OK, right.
I mean, she can talk about anything you want, really.
She can.
She's very, very talented.
Yeah. In fact, she actually commented, in fact, on the Christmas decorations.
She did.
There you go. I know no bounds in my commentary.
No. We like Jennifer.
We'll see you a bit later.
Indeed. All right. OK, let's get the check on the weather with Alex.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome along to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Bit of a dull, damp start for many today, but generally brightening up through the day, and we should see some sunny spells. It's a bit soggy, though, first thing, particularly for parts of Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland, some heavy bursts of rain here. Much of the Midlands, eastern England, staying dull and damp all morning, but brighter skies already popping up across parts of Wales and southwest England. But as well as a bit of sunshine, we are going to see a few showers drifting into these areas. By the afternoon, much of the Midlands becoming cheerier. Close to the east coast, it may well stay dull and damp for most of the day, and a bit chilly, certainly compared to recent days. Temperatures close to average, 7 to 9 degrees Celsius, but feeling cooler with the outbreaks of rain, which will linger perhaps across northeast Scotland well into the evening time. Elsewhere, we'll start to see more showers coming into southwest Scotland, but between the two, it should be a drier end to the day for southeastern parts of Scotland. Some clearer skies developing for a time in Northern Ireland, but notice there is more rain lurking out to the west. Much of England and Wales having a fine and dry evening, that rain finally pulling away from the east coast. But it will turn quite cold quite quickly. Certainly in the east, further west, there'll be more showers coming in this evening into West Wales. Some heavy bursts of rain again here, far from welcome because it's been so soggy recently. Further east, as I said, it will turn quite cold, and yes, there will be some frost forming across eastern areas. And as well as that, tonight we need to watch out for some fog across parts of central and eastern England in particular. Some dense patches of fog quite possible for Friday morning's commute, so that may take a while to clear away. Generally, it's looking like things will brighten up a little on Friday, but then look at this, more rain coming in. And again, coming into areas that the ground is very soggy indeed. So this rain far from welcome as it piles into western areas during Friday, bringing with it gusty winds as well. It will turn milder, but also wetter as we head into the weekend.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Right, don't go anywhere, because still to come, as the police could soon tap into the UK's entire passport database. We're going to be debating whether facial recognition is something that'll protect you or something that is invading our privacy. That's next.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Skirt over Christmas. Sorry.
We're debating Christmas trees. Penny here, I mean, I'm surprised at you, hasn't heard of a Christmas tree skirt.
Sorry, is that a thing?
Of course it is. And you put it around the water bucket. You know, obviously your tree, if it's a real tree, you need to put it in water.
Yeah, and then you cover that
and you cover it with a skirt.
With Christmas presents. Fake Christmas presents and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it was called a skirt.
Well, the skirt's an actual sort of piece of cloth that you put round.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Honestly, where were you dragged up? Honestly.
Midlands. A brand new Great British giveaway now and your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date.
Yes, it's a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. Could be yours. Here's how you enter.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British Giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Now, ministers plan to expand police use of facial recognition to help track dangerous criminals and are asking the public how it should be regulated.
Well, the government hopes that wider adoption will catch more offenders. The policing minister says it will put more criminals behind bars.
So for the debate this hour, we're asking, will facial recognition make you safe?
Well, let's talk to former Scotland Yard detective Peter Blexley and the co-founder of the Together Foundation, Alan Miller. Gents, good to see you both. There's a lot of scepticism with people getting in touch, Peter. What do you make of it?
I'm fully supportive of a much wider rollout of facial recognition technology. The harsh reality is we've got tens of thousands of very dangerous, wanted people on the streets of Britain, whether they've been mistakenly released from prison, whether they've failed to appear at court for a trial, or whether they're wanted for any number of very serious crimes. This technology was very raw when it was first rolled out, but South Wales Police and the Metropolitan Police in particular have grasped the nettle and used it widely. Over 1,000 wanted people have been arrested as a result. The technology is vastly improved from what it was. No images of innocent people are retained. In fact, if the camera doesn't recognise you, it deletes your image instantaneously. The technology improves. I'm on the side of law and order and keeping the streets safe, and therefore I'm fully supportive.
Alan, your take on this?
I think law and order is fundamentally essential, and what we've seen is a collapse of it in many places. We definitely need more police on the streets. We need diligence and perseverance. We need policing without fear or favour. What we've got here is a situation where not in any manifesto or any public discussion has there been any presentation of the fact that there'll be 45 million people in a database utilising passport images, where the public will be turned into a lineup, where the privacy and liberty that's been so essential in Britain, that marks us out as being so exceptional in many ways, is being fundamentally transformed. The relationship between the citizen and the state. We now have a situation where we're going to be treated as walking QR or barcodes, as potential criminals. We've already had tens of thousands of people being surveyed consistently. No one has had a debate nationally about this with the public fully. It was never in any manifesto. And alongside the push for mandatory digital ID, 8 million directors, 1.8 million veterans being used as guinea pigs, children in the Children Wellbeing Schools bill, we have a situation where it's looking very much like we want to have a biometric surveillance state. We also know that as well as all the breaches of data, if you've got 45 million images with passports, that we've seen that across the board, not just things like Marks and Spencers or Heathrow, but with Afghanis and our security personnel not being able to be kept safe, alongside a two-tier approach to policing, a situation where people have been imprisoned for social media posts, a constant push to regulate around what people are saying. So the idea that you've got now a situation where this will be rolled out across Britain alongside digital ID, which is mandatory if you want to work, and surveillance consistently on our streets, low traffic neighbourhoods and elsewhere, is why people are so concerned about this.
Peter?
OK, well, Mr Miller just conflated a load of differing arguments and really came up with nothing cogent about facial recognition. Passport data will be accessed in order to pull up the pictures of wanted criminals, which will then be stored on the database and used to compare to any images that are scanned when the facial recognition cameras are deployed.
But Peter, sorry, just to press you on the data breaches that we've had.
Pushed it forward is actually shameful on the other cowardly, spineless chief constables who haven't used this technology.
Yeah, but what about the data breaches, though? And people are worried about this, about the fact that things get leaked and things might get used.
It's clearly on the side of rapists, murderers and paedophiles, whilst I'm on the side of law and order and victims of crime.
I mean, there's a valid point there, Alan, isn't it? I mean, the idea, we've got to be very careful to say it's not going to be every passport photograph, for example, to use Peter's example there, that's going to be stored on an accessible database of this. It's only those of wanted criminals.
What we've got is a situation where this government's demonstrated its incapability of being able to handle data breaches. We've got privacy concerns across the board. We've seen that even the top tech companies have not been able to do it, and they've got far more resources and experience. We've also got a fundamental principle, which is, are we innocent until proven guilty? Should we have more bobbies and police on the streets, which everybody in Britain is crying out for? Should we have a situation where there are more police stations and we're actually policing with consent with the public? Or do we have a situation where the state is rolling out making the public into a walking lineup process? And that's why when we launched the Together Declaration over 4 years ago, people were saying they were very concerned, for instance, with things like so-called vaccine passports. Now we've got digital ID being implemented. This is part of an all-round approach that thinks the way you do things is with scanning, surveying, monitoring the whole of the public, rather than focusing on actual criminals doing the actual hard work on the ground, on the beat, policing without fear or favour. And we also know that when it comes to protests, and this has been a big discussion about carnivals and protests, that there's been a very one-sided approach to certain types of protests. There's also been an impetus to ban as many protests as we've seen. And that's why at Together, we're saying to people, we need to have a situation where we don't have an all-encompassing state surveillance control of people.
I suppose there is that issue, Peter, isn't there, about the misuse of something once it gets out there?
This facial recognition technology is far from all-encompassing. It's deployed as and when the police see fit and in locations where they think they might be most likely to find wanted people. As you can see, I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat this morning, and I like the police to use technology which will identify wanted people within a crowd of people so that they can be detained, the handcuffs can be slapped on, and they can be put into the criminal justice system, thereby making the streets of Britain a tiny bit safer.
OK. Peter Bleksley, Alan Miller, good to talk to you both this morning. Thank you.
Still to come, Deputy Leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice, is going to join us next to talk about Labour postponing the mayoral elections.
Thank you, Britain, for making us the fastest growing news website in the nation. Because the truth matters, and so do you.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. A collision on the A82 south of Drumnadrochit is causing restrictions in both directions. In Bala, the A494 is completely closed due to an accident, impacting both ways. Please find alternate routes as necessary. Meanwhile, in Surrey, the M23 southbound between Junction 8 and Junction 9 has 2 lanes closed following a road traffic collision. And on the trains, there is a Great Western Railway disruption between Liskeard and Looe. Furthermore, Northern buses are replacing services between Corkickle and Whitehaven, so do consider this while planning your journey. Stay up to date at gbnews.com for more travel news.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show. It's not a bad brand. Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
Right, it's 7:39. We're talking to Richard Tyson in a moment, but in the meantime, as we wait for him to rock up, Paul Coyte is here to talk about the sport. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Ashes.
To ashes.
Ashes to ashes.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Good. What are we on now?
So far, the thing is, I'm going to say it's good, and then another wicket is going to tumble.
Go on.
155 for 3.
Well, that's good.
Which is very good, considering it was a disaster of a start because England won the toss at the Gabba. And you want to bat first because it's a day-night game. What colour is the ball?
Pink.
Pink.
It is a pink ball.
But we had a golden duck, didn't we?
There was a golden duck. Yes, there was. So that
Would
was
you see the golden
Ben
duck?
Duckett.
Is that good to see?
Oh, that
golden
shows up
duck?
in the lights,
It shows
yeah.
up in the lights. OK.
You know, I'm going to give you something else now. The duck, I believe this is the case. The reason it's called a duck
Go on, then.
is because of the shape of an egg. And I think that's it.
What do you mean shape of an
so
egg?
the ball, the way the...
No, the zero.
Oh,
because
the
you
zero.
get naught.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's like you mean in tennis, the earth, as in
Very
love.
good. Yeah. And that's where
20
love,
of the
because
egg.
it sounds like earth. That's apparently that's
exactly.
it. It's all
Apparently
very
so.
So Duckett was out for a golden duck.
Yes, a golden
ducket.
ducket.
And a golden ducket. Of course, I got that now.
Exactly.
So-
No, that wasn't the joke I was making. But it was close to it.
So I'm just going to...
Then Ollie Pope went for naught. Listen, it was a disaster. We were 5 for 2, and now things are looking so much better. But you just don't know with these Test matches in Australia. So we'll just so far so good. If I could touch wood, I would. Yeah, do you remember Eric Sykes? Of course you remember Eric Sykes. I remember interviewing Eric Sykes once, and he carried a little piece of wood with him wherever he went. And I said, well, what have you got? And he goes, always touch it for luck. So wherever he went, throughout his whole career, just had a little piece of wood. And he kept it in his pocket.
it's one of the pagans. It's a pagan superstition. It's about getting in touch with the tree spirits because the trees,
that right?
of course, give you life and everything else. So you're touching wood.
Right.
Good luck for the. Yeah.
Oh well, there we are. So I didn't think I'd mention Eric Sykes.
Actual wood.
There's
We've
a
got a bit
tree
of
over
fake
there,
wood.
look.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
the
plastic.
tree.
Not really.
No.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, but it's the thought that's there. But anyway, England are doing okay at the moment. There's a little football yesterday. Arsenal beat Brentford 2-0, so that means they're still top.
Okay.
Leeds surprisingly beat Chelsea 3-1 at Elland Road, which is very good for Leeds because Leeds have been having a terrible time. So it's kept the wolf from the door when it comes to Daniel Farke, who is the Leeds manager.
Okay.
Liverpool won, Sunderland won. So again, not a good result for Liverpool, although Sunderland probably could have won it. And a 7-goal thriller, Aston Villa beat Brighton 4-3.
The thriller with the Villa.
It was a thriller with the Villa.
That sounds a bit like that wonderful film, doesn't it?
The Thriller in Manila.
Well, no, not the Thriller from Manila. It's the no.
Who's Ludmilla?
No, the vessel with the pestle has the brew that is true.
Yes,
that one.
that was Danny Kaye, right?
Danny Kaye, love
right?
that
Yeah,
film.
yeah, yeah.
So good.
Can we have a very quick look at the Olympic flame?
I hope we've got the Olympic flame. I hope so, because this is what we're obsessed with. I was obsessed with it during the summer, wasn't I? And now I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Now, the Olympics is going to be in Cortina and Milan. This is the Winter Olympics. But you may recognise that doesn't look very much like Italy.
No.
That is the Acropolis. The Acropolis is the area, right? And the Parthenon is the actual
that right?
temple, I believe so. So anyway, that is being lit there. I can tell you who that man is.
Who is it?
That is Stefanos Ntouskos.
Oh, very good.
And Stefanos Ntouskos was Olympic rower, so he lights the cauldron, and there's the rain. It's pouring with rain, by the way.
Is it?
Awful weather there in Athens, but the cauldron there is burning very brightly, and it will then be handed to the Italian organisers today, and they will begin their month-long relay, which I'm going to bore you with for the next month. 60 cities, 300 towns, 10,000 torchbearers arrives in Cortina on January
All
the 26th.
out for Golden Duck.
All right, lovely.
All out for Golden Duck.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. Right, we are going to talk to Richard Tice in just a moment. First, so if you want some holiday sun, don't go to the Acropolis because it's raining, but here's the rest of the European forecast.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Heavy rain and strong winds across the eastern end of the Mediterranean, bringing some pretty heavy downpours across parts of Greece in particular during Friday, but also southern parts of Turkey with those gusty winds. Showers again for southern Italy, particularly for Sardinia and Sicily. The east coast of Spain and the Balearics looking largely dry and fine on Friday. Plenty of sunshine across the Canaries. That will continue as we head through the weekend, and things should calm down in Greece during the weekend as well.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Britain's newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
Flossie, how do you think your peers would react if, from now on, they were never ever allowed to bring their phone into school?
Well, I think the big thing is really, I mean, I went to school yesterday after obviously doing BBC News, and surprisingly to me, all of my friends were saying, look, we completely agree with you, you're so totally doing the right thing. Obviously, it is a very sensitive topic. You know, obviously I'm going to have people saying, stop what you're doing.
Don't take my phone away from me.
I would hate myself if I was in primary, secondary school. But realistically, the thing is, now I'm coming to realise I really wish I just didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
I am addicted to my phone now, I will admit that. I really wish I wasn't. So hopefully as well, if phones are banned in secondary schools, parents usually buy them for secondary school because everyone gets them. So hopefully that will stagger, you know, when parents buy their kids' phones, which may break, you know, the level of addiction.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I didn't have a phone, I really wish I didn't, because, you know, I keep on saying to myself, where would I be now if I didn't have a phone?
You said that people are now talking to each other on the bus because your school has moved to a stricter ban.
So my school is now completely smartphone free on anywhere where the school has a duty of care. So, yeah, it was really surprising to see kids, you know, talking and chatting rather than
normally
just
they would
being on
text
their
each other,
phones.
or they'd be on
Just staring at their phone.
Extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, I do hope you're very successful because it's such an important campaign. Will, or Ewing and Flossie, thank you so much. Yeah.
Why can't they just take a stand? They've done it in Australia.
It might help with the
They've done it in
politics.
Australia.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Right, it's 7:47. We've got a few technical problems with Richard Tice. He can't hear us.
We've got an issue.
We have got an issue, so we're trying to sort it out. If we can't sort him out, we'll try and get him to... We'll try
Say
and sort
something.
something out.
Yeah.
Because we should hear from Reform UK.
We should.
So we'll try and sort that out for you. In the meantime, we have got the papers. With Christo Foufas and Claire Muldoon, you're not the second best. I'm just saying, you are still...
Never.
Ditch us like a hot potato if Richard Tice becomes available, wouldn't you?
Yes, we will.
We know where we stand.
We will. In the meantime, Claire, can we have a look at A&E?
Well, we can, and I really want to put a message out there. Do not attend A&E if you've got the hiccups. Come on. I can't believe this. A&E departments are under siege by patients suffering from hiccups. I mean, why on earth would you, if you were hiccuping, why would you think, oh, the best place for me to go is to hospital, to visit an A&E department? A&E, clue is in the name. Accident and emergency. Neither fits the bill for hiccups, I'm afraid.
No. And you can find other places if you genuinely have got something that you think it's not an accident, it's not an emergency, but nevertheless something needs to be done pretty shortly. You can go and there are other places to find.
200,000 A&E cases last winter could have been dealt with elsewhere, including almost 100,000 people with a sore throat. Come on, people, what is it with you?
The two problems with this are, firstly, GPs, because people go to their...
Not for hiccups, Crystal.
They can't get an appointment with their GP and they worry about stuff. Well, there's three things. Firstly, people are incredibly stupid, and we have to remember that, and they need to be sent to a desert island if you're stupid enough to think that A&E is the answer. But GPs, you can't get an appointment for love nor money. You ring 101, and 101, you could ask... 111, sorry, 111.
Room 101.
You could ring 111 about anything, and they'll say, oh, just go to A&E. That is their answer for literally absolutely everything.
But I'll tell you what we don't utilise, and we should, is the pharmacy.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They are fully trained. You should go to these things to the pharmacist.
It's the people who ring up, the police as well. It's the same category of people that their pizza's late and they ring the police or their football team lost. Send these people to a desert island.
Yeah.
Or,
take their phones off them.
It is annoying. And as for sore throats, there are times when you need to go and get your sore throat sorted out. But most of the time, you're getting a cold, you've got a sore throat, in 3 days' time you'll be sneezing.
Have a lozenge.
But every year we get this, right? Your hospitals will be under siege. It's all for flu vaccinations, etc., etc. People are presenting in A&E departments for flu as well. Something that if you're feeling that bad, you cannot physically leave the house.
Don't start me on my flu vaccination. I feel like I'm being stalked by the NHS.
I don't
the
get it.
number of times they text me about... I feel like I'm in a bad relationship with someone who just stop texting me about the flu jab.
You should get on a plane.
Why?
Get on a plane, fly away, get away from it.
Exactly, that's what's it.
Maybe I need to leave, rather than sending all these people...
It's a segue into that. Did you not see that? It was a hint about the drawn-out airport farewell.
Sorry, I was on one about A&E. This is airport fines.
It's OK. It's all right.
I know, it's just I can't work with
Sorry,
these amateurs.
I'm just saying. It's
I would have thought you'd be used to it by
Singular,
now.
please,
now,
singular.
Drawn-out airport farewells are now facing an £80 fine. Now, I don't know about you, but it really irritates me that you've got to pay to drop people off at an airport.
Outrageous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And some airports don't even have direct rail links that they make you pay. Now, at the moment, if you want to drop someone off at Heathrow, it costs you £6. It's now going to go up to £7. But if you used to overstay that in the drop-off zone, it used to be able to pay your fine by the minute.
Yeah.
But no, they've got rid of that now. And now, for overstaying, you're welcome. Front page of today's Telegraph, you will get an instant £80 fine if you go beyond 10 minutes. So you can say goodbye to everyone, but you can't say goodbye for too long because they want to get their hands on your money.
And do you know where facial recognition started and came from? Vehicle registration. number plate. So this is where this is where it'll end.
And you know
it
what?
really will.
And do you know what irritates me so much about stories like this is they say, oh, you know, it's because of the carbon footprint. It's an airport. How many planes are flying in and out? It's not because of carbon footprint. It's greenwashing. It's profiting from people who are just going about their daily lives in the name of saying that it's because of our carbon footprint. But in actual fact, it's profiteering from it.
Claire, can we talk about? I can't think of a segue, Stephen. For the hat trick.
They're lost on us.
Taylor Swift as she lands the #1 spot on Spotify.
Right, so Spotify has come out. We've got globally is Bad Bunny. Don't know if anyone's heard of him, but there's lots of things for Spotify. I know you two don't have it. It's a great thing to listen to massive amounts of genres of music. Taylor Swift, #1 in the UK. She's had a brilliant year, wonderful album, got engaged, everything else. Get your Spotify link and get listening to music.
Well, Madonna's got an album coming out next year, so we'll see where she is by the end of 2026.
Yeah, she won't be top of the list.
No.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Claire. Thank you very much, Christo. See you later.
Yes, all right. Here's the weather with Alex.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome along to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Bit of a dull, damp start for many today, but generally brightening up through the day, and we should see some sunny spells. It's a bit soggy though, first thing, particularly for parts of Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland, some heavy bursts of rain here. Much of the Midlands, eastern England staying dull and damp all morning, but brighter skies already popping up across parts of Wales and southwest England, but as well as a bit of sunshine, we are going to see a few showers drifting into these areas. By the afternoon, much of the Midlands becoming cheerier. Close to the east coast, it may well stay dull and damp for most of the day, and a bit chilly, certainly compared to recent days. Temperatures close to average, 7 to 9 degrees Celsius, but feeling cooler with the outbreaks of rain, which will linger perhaps across northeast Scotland well into the evening time. Elsewhere, we'll start to see more showers coming into southwest Scotland, but between the two, it should be a drier end to the day for southeastern parts of Scotland. Some clearer skies developing for a time in Northern Ireland, but notice there is more rain lurking out to the west. Much of England and Wales having a fine and dry evening, that rain finally pulling away from the east coast. But it will turn quite cold quite quickly. Certainly in the east, further west, there'll be more showers coming in this evening into West Wales. Some heavy bursts of rain again here, far from welcome because it's been so soggy recently. Further east, as I said, it will turn quite cold, and yes, there will be some frost forming across eastern areas. And as well as that, tonight we need to watch out for some fog across parts of central and eastern England in particular. Some dense patches of fog quite possible for Friday morning's commute, so that may take a while to clear away. Generally, it's looking like things will brighten up a little on Friday, but then look at this, more rain coming in, and again, coming into areas that the ground is very soggy indeed. So this rain far from welcome as it piles into western areas during Friday, bringing with it gusty winds as well. It will turn milder, but also wetter as we head into the weekend.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 8 million followers across social media. Thank you for making us a part of your daily life.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A82 south of Drumnadrochit is restricted due to a traffic collision. The A483 southbound between Coedpoeth and Rostillan is closed following an accident. In Cambridgeshire, the M11 southbound between Junction 10 and Junction 9 is halted due to a broken down vehicle, expected to resolve by 9:11 this morning. Surrey's M23 southbound faces delays with one lane closed due to a traffic incident. And on the trains, Great Western Railway faces disruptions between Liskeard and Looe, while reduced services affect the London North Western Railway between Stafford and Crewe. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British Giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
Oh, no, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
A really important thing about GB News, and it's brought something completely different to the landscape.
The mainstream is all about keeping the status quo as it is, ticking along quite nicely. They don't want to ask difficult questions.
GB News exists because there is a desperate need for fearless journalism that puts the people first.
GB News came on the scene as a disruptor, and it has always been a disruptor ever since.
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, the reality is that most British journalists are afraid. That's not GB News.
Journalism is journalism at the end of the day, and we're not here to serve any masters. Our masters are our audience.
We're here to talk about things in a way that have never been broadcast on British Airways before.
Do not miss a moment on GB News.
The #1 news channel in the country. Good morning. Is Labour delaying democracy?
Reports say the government plans to postpone 4 key mayoral elections until 2028, a move that Reform UK is calling a blatant attempt to stop big wins for their party.
Well, the news is also uniting the Conservatives and the Lib Dems as they brand it a disgrace.
Ministers are expecting to confirm the delays today, citing the need for more time to reorganise local authorities.
Safe in the country if just anyone can walk in. And I would also add what every Brit and every American these days unfortunately intuitively knows, which is that when you change the people who live in the country's values change too, the country's politics change too, the country's institutions change too.
Well, there's a blunt warning from the US as a leading Trump official tells GB News the UK's small boat crisis is putting the country at risk and changing our values.
There's been an earthquake in Britain, 3.3 magnitude, and it was in northwest England. Residents say that the jolt was so strong that it shook houses.
Merthyr Tydfil, Labour's century-old stronghold, is now poised for a dramatic political shift, according to the latest numbers, with reform surging as locals voice anger over jobs, services and trust in politicians.
Oh, and water finally returns to thousands of homes in Kent, but the residents are going to have to boil everything after South East Water warned of contamination risks re-emerging.
In sport this morning, second Ashes test underway at the Gabba in Brisbane. England winning the toss and batting, then after losing 2 early wickets. Well, 3 wickets now. They're looking pretty good. Currently 174 for 3. Arsenal increased their lead at the top of the Premier League as Chelsea lose at Leeds and Liverpool can only draw with Sunderland. And the draw for the Rugby World Cup's been made, even though we still have to wait 2 years for it.
A bit of a damp start for many of us today, but it should get a little brighter with some winter sunshine on offer later. Tonight, a touch of frost and some fog, and there's more wet weather to come as we head towards the weekend. Join me later for a full forecast.
It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Penny Smith, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Now, I'm fascinated this morning
by what?
By food.
Yeah.
Meat and 2 veg. Do you like meat and 2 veg?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like more veg, but apart
Yeah, oh, yeah, you like your veg, don't
I
you?
do.
Well, look, this is a thing in the Daily Star this morning. Apparently, we're losing our appetites as a country for meat and 2 veg dishes.
Right.
So, like sausage and mash and things are being swapped for exotic alternatives.
Oh my goodness!
Especially
Swan
Asian
Vesta curry.
Well, no, Swan Vesta. Oh, shows your age, that Penny. Swan Vesta. No, apparently things like Asian sticky beef and butter chicken masala.
But if you've got sausage and mash, what are the 2 veg? You've got the mash. But then
peas.
Oh, love peas. I love peas.
Everybody loves peas.
I absolutely love peas.
Nobody ever has to say just give peas a chance because they're always the first thing out of the bag.
And you've got to have gravy, obviously.
Gravy, peas. Do they have peas? Can you get peas in America? Is peas a British thing?
No. I think you get peas in. Of course, you get peas.
I do like
why'd you get peas?
I like a mushy pea.
I like a mushy pea too.
Mushy pea.
Yeah.
But of course, they're legumes, aren't they? I mean, they're not strictly cooked because they're legumes. They're in pods.
Oh,
so
I see.
It's a legume rather than a.
Right.
Strictly speaking of veg.
Here's some breaking news for you.
What?
Anne Diamond.
What?
Has never eaten a mushy pea in her life.
What's wrong with her? Where's she from, though?
I'm not surprised.
I love a mushy pea and vinegar.
Oh yeah.
Lovely. Oh, and maybe a pickled egg.
Actually, I'm not keen on a pickled egg.
I love a pickled egg.
I like a pickled onion.
Pickled gherkin. Pickled cucumber.
The gherkin, you call those a wally?
Wally, yeah.
Yeah, because I said to my wife, we got some fish and chips. I said, look, they gave me a free wally. And she said, what is a wally? You call it a wally, right?
Wally.
No,
exactly.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a wally.
A gherkin is a wally.
Oh.
Is that a Midlands thing?
No, it can't be. I've never been to the Midlands.
Oh, right. How come you've had a mushy pea?
Oh, I don't know, get them down south every now and again.
Yeah, I love a mushy pea. So anyway, if you're a fan of your meat and 2 veg, let us know this morning if that's what you're still cooking at home. Good old traditional.
I have been to the Midlands, by the way. I have really.
Well, I think so.
I know. I just want to make that clear right now. Yeah.
Actually, I haven't. Well, I mean, I live in the South Midlands.
Yes.
Technically, but I haven't. I went to uni in Nottingham and got the first job. Well, we both worked in Nottingham.
Well, that's right, because I worked on Radio Trent.
And I worked on Radio Trent.
And on BBC Radio Nottingham was a man called Simon Mayo, who I then...
Oh, yes, of course.
Who I then discovered he's my birth twin. He's born on exactly the same day. He's 2 hours older than me. And, still broadcasting.
And a Tottenham Hotspur fan.
He's a top bloke. Yeah, and writing books.
Yeah, very good. Anyway, there you go. Enough of that, because now we've filled a little bit of time. We can tell you that standing by from Westminster is the Shadow Minister for Illegal Immigration, Crime Policing and Fire, Matt Vickers. A shame you can't get any more, but it wouldn't fit on your business card, Matt, would it? Good to see you this morning. What is the Tories' position on these mayoral elections? Greater Essex, Hampshire, Solent, Sussex, Brighton, Norfolk and Suffolk, which now it looks like are not going to be taking place.
We've got to be getting on with them. These elections must go ahead. We're being held captive by this government. They do not want to face the electorate at all. We've got 4 fantastic candidates. We know the difference they can make in those communities. We've seen what Ben Houchen's done up on Teesside in creating jobs, in driving change, in saving our airport. The people across the country want a bit more of that. We want to get our candidates elected. We want to see these elections go ahead. We want people to have the chance to have a say on what's going on. But you know what? if you would make as much of a mess of this country as Keir Starmer is making, you can kind of understand why he's doing everything possible to avoid people having their say in this situation. He is destroying our economy. 19% more people out of work. Last week he taxed working people to death. Record levels of tax in order to give £16 billion bung in benefits to people who weren't working. It can't go on like this. He needs to be held to account. We also need to give those communities across the country the chance to elect a mayor.
Well, I mean, they are saying that it's not cancelled, it's just pushed back to 2028. Also, while you're there, can I ask you for your thoughts on this? Is a story which is on the front page, I think, of a few of the papers, but on the Daily Telegraph. Police plan for Face ID in every town. Good idea?
So I think, in terms of the mayoral elections, they are delayed, but there's no reason for them to be delayed. There was a bit of debate last time around council boundaries and what went on there, and perhaps there was an argument for delay. There is no reason for these mayoral elections to be delayed. And when it comes down to facial recognition, what the government have announced today is a consultation on how these things should be managed. The reality is that facial recognition technology has been used. The last government was pumping it out. We actually put funding in place. We rolled it out. Police forces are already using it to great effect. It's ridiculously efficient. It allows us to catch people who otherwise wouldn't be caught. In fact, there was an incredible story of how effective it can be. There was a story of a chap who was walking a 6-year-old girl to school. It was found that he was a sex offender who was banned from being in contact with children. And the only reason that person was caught was because of this technology. The policeman driving past would never have recognised this guy. That facial recognition technology saved that child from God knows what. It needs to be rolled out. We need to go further and faster. Instead of discussing just the red tape that this consultation is going to discuss, we need to be giving police forces the proper funding that they were receiving before. The reality is that this government has reduced the number of police on our streets. We've got the Police Chiefs Council complaining about the funding. 1,316 less people. There are just a year in 1,316 less people out there in our police forces working to keep our streets safe. We need to go further and faster with facial recognition technology.
Well, look, Matt, I mean, you outline one case there, and everyone can see the benefit of that. There's various levels of concern. One is, as one of our guests said this morning, it's like everyone's just a walking barcode in the country. The other thought is, of course, it's about the data. It's about data storage. It's about access to data like passport photos and all the rest of it. How do we maintain its security?
We already have compliance measures in place that require this data. People can't hold on to these faces forever and a day. There is actually systems in place with this technology that deletes it very quickly thereafter after it's been checked. But the reality is nobody has anything to fear unless they're a criminal. You aren't going to be getting arrested because you walk down the street unless you did something wrong. This is catching criminals. It's taking sex offenders off our streets. It's the right thing to do. Our police need every tool we can give them to catch some of these vile, heinous criminals and take them off our streets, to make our streets safer, to make our kids safer, and to allow people to walk around without the fear of some of the things that people have been subjected to.
See, Matt, there will be people who are saying, well, if the Tories hadn't cut the number of the police force, then actually we'd be in a better situation in the first place. That's not
true. So the reality is that when the Conservatives left office, there were more police on the streets of the United Kingdom than ever before. 149,796 police officers on the streets, with more funding than ever before. And actually we're putting money into technology like this to ensure that those police could do even more to keep our streets safe. Since this Labour government came to office, they've slammed our police forces with their jobs tax, with their national insurance increase. They failed to put the pay award into the baseline. As a result, there are 1,316 less people working in our police forces and across the country, in areas across the country. Crime is surging, particularly in London.
I'm reading about the fact that the period in which clear-up rates for the most serious crimes collapsed coincided with big cuts to police budgets and the fall in police officer numbers of about 20,000, and that was when
we left office. When we left office, there were more police on the streets than ever before, and actually, during the course of the last government, crime across this country, removing fraud, had fell by nearly 50%. We were making real progress. Of course we want to see more police on the streets, but actually there was more than ever before. Things were going the right way. Under this government, police numbers down, crime numbers up.
Just before we let you go, can I ask about SEND, Special Educational Needs and Disability Funding? Because the government was talked to the government later on this morning, but they're saying that SEND provision was on its knees when they got into government, and they're now putting more money into Best Start family hubs, and a lot of that focus is going to be on providing SEND need for those families that need it.
So they're talking about one person in these family hubs across the country, but actually there's a £6 billion black hole in the education budget at the moment. We don't know whether that's going to be taken from schools. We don't know whether that's going to be taken from SEND. Every week in my constituency surgeries, I talk to people who are fighting to get their children the care and support that they need. Children with SEND struggling in queues for diagnosis. It's wrong. The reality is that since the pandemic, the number of people, of children who qualify for education and healthcare plans has gone up. It's nearly doubled. That's created a huge pressure, and actually the last government, it was an unprecedented challenge. That's why they put an unprecedented amount of money into it, £850 million. They'd created 102 new special educational needs schools. There was 92 more on the way. We've now got this black hole in our education budget. I'm speaking to parents every week who are concerned about the reforms coming down the line from this government, that are questioning ECHPs, educational healthcare plans, that allow parents to get the legal right to get the care that their children need. We need to ensure, we need to go further, we need to solve this black hole that the government's allowed to take place. Putting one person in a family hub is not going to solve taking away resources from schools across this country. This should be one of the top priorities for the government, to make sure these kids get the care and support that they need to flourish and reach for the stars.
All right, Matt Vickers, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Joining us now in the studio, political commentator Jennifer Powers. Where do you want to start with this?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we can start with the local elections being delayed yet again.
The mayoral elections.
The mayoral elections, apologies. Yeah, I think it's extraordinary that the Labour government is proposing to scrap jury trials in many cases because they argue that justice delayed is justice denied. However, they're perfectly happy for democracy to be delayed and for democracy to be denied to, hundreds of thousands of people for another couple of years. So it does seem quite a disjointed approach.
And it's their own fault in the sense that they've insisted on these mayoral races going ahead.
Yeah, indeed. No, it's all of their own making. They've wanted to reorganise local government, bring in these combined authorities in different parts of the country. Angela Rayner, the erstwhile Deputy Prime Minister and now perhaps future Prime Minister, or at least leader of the Labour Party, was heading up the Department of Communities and Local Government since the election.
Well, she was the one who
brought all of this in.
Who said that it was a good idea that this should happen.
And for whatever reason, they've not been able to make as much progress as they had hoped. And now we learn that today they're going to announce the delay, not just by 1 year, but by perhaps 2 years, which is quite extraordinary.
Is there any argument to say this idea of reorganisation, getting the planning of all this is more difficult than perhaps they first envisioned? Can this be justified in any way, shape or form, as far as you can see?
I think the reorganisation of local government can be argued because it doesn't really work now. We have such an asymmetric structure to local government. In some areas there's one council, in some areas there's two. In some areas you have the combined authority on top of that. It's a real mix. And what powers do local authorities have these days? Most things have been centralised. Their budgets have been eviscerated. So it's sort of social care and bin collection in many cases.
Yeah.
So I can understand the argument.
It's partly to do with it. They do have
reorganisation.
They do have other things that they're supposed to be kind of.
But
the problem is they don't exactly that because of the social care aspect,
Absolutely.
which is taking up so much of the budget.
Yeah. So I have sympathy with the idea of reorganising this, but I don't understand why they've had more than a year and now they want another 2 years. It strikes me this is just another example of Whitehall not working. Why does it take our officials what will be more than 3 years to organise this change. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I don't know. There will be people looking at it and saying we don't seem to be able to do investigations in anything under about 10 years, and then we come out, you know, then finally the big reveal, which by that time everybody's sort of virtually forgotten the start of it. You know.
Oh, yeah. Jennifer, thank you very much indeed. Good to see you. Now, a leading Trump official has warned that the UK's small boat crisis is putting the country at risk.
The US Under-Secretary of Public Diplomacy, Sarah B. Rogers, says that when the people in a country change, so do the country's values.
Well, in an exclusive interview with our political editor, Chris Hope, he pressed her on immigration and freedom of speech.
Sarah Rogers, thank you for joining us today on GB News. Why are you here in the UK? Are you worried about freedom of speech in the home of Magna Carta?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be in the UK, which is my first official trip as Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy. So as Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy, I oversee America's diplomatic engagement with foreign publics, including the online public. And I'm in the United Kingdom because our two countries share great foundational freedoms that helped shape the post-war order to our benefit, that helped defeat communism to our benefit, and that birthed the system of self-government we enjoy. But those freedoms are in danger now because of a temptation to censor the internet. And I'm here to speak against that and to urge Brits, whom I know share America's fundamental desire to be a free society, to join us in that and help welcome new technology in a way that innovates through the current problems we're seeing in the communications sphere, rather than trying to put that innovation back in the bottle and censor everything.
OK, we'll come on to the Online Safety Act shortly. In this country, we've had people imprisoned for saying things on X, on Twitter. We have a comedian arrested, living in America, coming here. He's offended someone about a trans issue. He's arrested by armed police at the airport. What's going on?
Well, look, I think the way we explain it in America is that 250 years ago, our forefathers undertook the original Brexit. We split from the old world to claim new freedoms as citizens, not subjects. And America's first freedom, our most famous freedom, is freedom of speech enshrined in the First Amendment. Most countries don't share that constitutional bulwark, even though many countries, and I think the British people, share a fundamental desire to be free. But when you don't rigorously defend that right, even when it's inconvenient, even when the speech is offensive, you end up in these absurd scenarios where you have comedians arrested for tweets, priests arrested for silent prayer, grandmothers dragged out of their homes for criticizing gender ideology, and all manner of absurdities that I think good, thoughtful British people I've met with all reject these.
So why does the government here allow that to happen?
Well, that's a question for Britain, isn't it?
You know, you're also concerned in your administration about the small boats crisis on the south coast of this country. I know you're not talking about security today, but you are concerned maybe on a community cohesion level, because we don't know simply who's coming to this country.
I mean, look, nobody's safe in the country if just anyone can walk in. And I would also add what every Brit and every American these days, unfortunately, intuitively knows, which is that when you change the people who live in the country's values change too, the country's politics change too, the country's institutions change too.
And that's what you worry about, that cohesion level.
Yes, we have to care who comes into the country. We have to care who constitutes the country, because otherwise the foundational freedoms that we all staked out hundreds of years ago are not going to be long for this world.
Well, there he was, and here he is again. It's the political editor, Christopher Hope, joining us again. And this was the first stop on the way to the rest of Europe.
Yeah, morning, Penny, and morning, Steve. That's right, her first stop. I think she's a bit of a star in the making, frankly. Her first interview in the UK on this trip, just approved by Congress very recently. Of course, we're looking into a big year for America next year. It's their 250th anniversary of independence. She called that their Brexit, which I thought was a great way of thinking about what the USA becoming separate from the British Empire 250 years ago. But the content of that interview was so interesting. How they view freedom of speech is so different to this country. I think that we assume it's always going to be there, the right to say what we like, but in fact it is under threat from all sorts of areas, and I think they are uniquely concerned about it in America. It's their number one line in their constitution. And she said that the Online Safety Act, I mean, we view that, don't we, as a way to protect our children from seeing horrible things on the internet, but she says that's a flimsy excuse. You can do different ways to protect children. Why go after freedom of speech? I think that is fascinating. She called it absurd censorship laws. She had a go at David Lammy for removing the automatic right in Magna Carta 1215, don't forget, to a jury trial. Why is that going? That wouldn't happen in America because that's also in their constitution. And the issue of this small boats crisis, she said, didn't she, that we're less safe. She said nobody's safe in the country if anyone can walk in. And that's the central point. Over 40,000 people arriving so far this year illegally. We don't know who they are. They chuck away their documents on arrival. Who are they? Why can't this government get to grips? Some great challenges there, I think, for our government.
Well, also a challenge with this mayoral election story, Chris. I mean, look, we try to see all sides. I've been desperately trying to search for what would be a valid reason, a legitimate reason, for the government delaying these elections by 2 years rather than just running scared from the polls at the moment. I'm struggling to find one.
Yes, and of course the opposition parties, notably Reform UK, are seeing a conspiracy here, there, and they are, I think, rightly saying if the Tories did this, Labour will be absolutely furious. So correctly, they are furious. Richard Tyson was saying this morning, the deputy leader of Reform UK, why can't officials just work through weekends to make sure these elections happen? I mean, again, go back to America. If they delayed the right of people to have a say over elected people by a year, there'd be an outrage. It'd be an offence against their constitution, and this is an offence against democracy. We'll be hearing later from the government, probably a statement in Parliament, about why they're doing it, but we're responding so far to reports overnight. But I think it is a disgrace, and the government better have some good answers.
Except that, of course, as we keep on hearing, of course, it is something of their own making, since nobody was actually calling for these mayors, and so it was the Labour Party who said, let's have the mayors, and then Labour Party saying, well, not yet.
Yes, I mean, democracy is a funny old thing. This government is also abolishing elected policing and crime commissioners. They think that's a waste of money. So you pay your money, you take your choice, I think. I think these elected mayors are a good thing. I think you have a single person fighting for a region, whether it's Ben Houchin up in Teesside or it's Dame Andrea Jenkin in Greater Lincolnshire, or, of course, Andy Burnham famously in Manchester. They do focus minds. They focus, they have a target person to try and channel money into regions. They are a good thing. And why can't Norfolk and Suffolk have their own mayor? Why can't there be one in Sussex? I think it's a poor if the government can't organise themselves to give people that right.
OK. Chris, for now, thanks very much indeed.
Alex Deakin now has the weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome along to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Bit of a dull, damp start for many today, but generally brightening up through the day, and we should see some sunny spells. It's a bit soggy though, first thing, particularly for parts of Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland, some heavy bursts of rain here. Much of the Midlands, eastern England staying dull and damp all morning, but brighter skies already popping up across parts of Wales and southwest England. But as well as a bit of sunshine, we are going to see a few showers drifting into these areas. By the afternoon, much of the Midlands becoming cheerier. Close to the east coast, it may well stay dull and damp for most of the day, and a bit chilly, certainly compared to recent days. Temperatures close to average, 7 to 9 degrees Celsius, but feeling cooler with the outbreaks of rain, which will linger perhaps across northeast Scotland well into the evening time. Elsewhere, we'll start to see more showers coming into southwest Scotland, but between the two, it should be a drier end to the day for southeastern parts of Scotland. Some clearer skies developing for a time in Northern Ireland, but notice there is more rain lurking out to the west. Much of England and Wales having a fine and dry evening, that rain finally pulling away from the east coast. but it will turn quite cold quite quickly. Certainly in the east, further west, there'll be more showers coming in this evening into West Wales. Some heavy bursts of rain again here, far from welcome because it's been so soggy recently. Further east, as I said, it will turn quite cold, and yes, there will be some frost forming across eastern areas. And as well as that, tonight we need to watch out for some fog across parts of central and eastern England in particular. Some dense patches of fog, quite possible for Friday morning's commute, so that may take a while to clear away. Generally, it's looking like things will brighten up a little on Friday, but then look at this, more rain coming in, and again, coming into areas that the ground is very soggy indeed. So this rain far from welcome as it piles into western areas during Friday, bringing with it gusty winds as well. It will turn milder, but also wetter as we head into the weekend.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Well, still to come for you, going to be live in Tunbridge Wells, where thousands of people have been without water for 6 days. It's coming back, but at a price. I'll tell you more in a moment.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
I think a lot of you at home are going to be quite annoyed with this. Now, Tesco, the big supermarket chain, appears to have got rid of the famous Christmas trees, instead renaming them evergreen
trees.
Evergreen
There's
trees.
the evergreen tree.
Here we are. So if you're listening on the radio, these are pictures of their boxes of artificial Christmas trees without the word Christmas on them at all, instead calling them evergreen trees. There are still a number of Christmas trees available called Christmas trees. But I think it has clearly annoyed quite a lot of people. Why do you call them evergreen trees? Can't you just call them Christmas?
Just call them Christmas trees. I call them Christmas trees even outside of the time of Christmas. If they look like a Christmas tree, I call them a Christmas tree, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And the Conservative leader of the London Assembly, Susan Hall, she's told The Telegraph, it's Christmas. It's a Christmas tree. People don't tend to put up green plastic fir trees for any other reason. It's all stupid nonsense about offending other people and other religions. Well, below that, this is supposed to be a Christian country. We have Christmas. Let's celebrate it, says Susan Hall.
Actually, other religions are not offended by the celebration of Christmas in a Christian country. You speak to Hindus and Buddhists and the vast majority of Muslims, they're not in the slightest bit bothered and actually will join in those celebrations as well. It doesn't offend them. But what you've got are marketing divisions within these big companies where you've got Tarquin and Tabitha who feel that we must, you know, do what we can do to not offend the great British public. And the great British public are the ones that are actually buying the product and they're not in the slightest bit offended.
Can I just say it offends me that we've got Christmas already and it's not December.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Oh, what is the time? Do you know what? It's 8:30.
It is.
Already. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Residents in Tunbridge Wells are furious. No, 5 days they had no water or severely low pressure, and that affected more than 24,000 homes in the area. And that was because of a problem at a treatment work.
Well, South East Water has announced the supply has been restored, but there's lots of problems for people. The local MP, Mike Martin, is now calling for the chief executive of South East Water to resign.
Yes, joining us now from Tunbridge Wells is reporter Isabel Fetkulak. Isabel, tell us about the latest news there.
Morning. Well, a major incident has been named here in Tunbridge Wells as thousands are yet to still have access to that clean water. Though water has been restored by South East Water, for some houses it's not drinking water, and they've issued a quite rare boil notice, which means that the water has to be boiled before it can be drank, though the water can be used to wash and flush the toilet. And I'm here at one of the collection points for bottled waters this morning, one of the busiest ones. It's meant to open at about 9 o'clock, but already people have been coming in to grab their bottled water, looking for answers as to when that clean water will be available for them again. They're now entering their 6th day without water, and the impact has been absolutely detrimental here for businesses. They've had to be closed for 5 days, missing out on huge earnings there, and quite the busy month in December, especially for hospitality. A GP practice has closed, schools have closed. The impact on the community has been massive. There's been issues in nursing homes, and a lot of the things that people are talking about is the lack of information. They don't know when their water will return. They're waiting for it too, and there's been a lot of outrage at South East Water, as you said there. The MP Mike Martin has said that it's a total failure of leadership from South East Water, and this has happened before. Back in 2022 in the area, water was out for 6 days, and at that point they issued an apology, and they said that in the future they will have a better response. But people think here that the response has been pretty bad. They weren't ready. They didn't have a plan available for when things went wrong, and what went wrong was that a bad batch of chemicals was released into the system. That was on Saturday. Still no water here.
That's the thing, isn't it? A lack of information. That's the thing that people get really annoyed about. Isabel Fetkulak, thank you very much.
I mean, it's hugely worrying, and it's so problematic. If you try, I mean, you just can't live without it.
Without
can you?
water, no. You suddenly realise how difficult it is. And then do you trust it when it comes back again, as we know there?
Well, yeah, and, you know, do you even trust it when you've boiled it? I wouldn't want a cup of tea out of it, really, at the moment.
But mostly it's about information. Tell people what is happening.
Yeah, you really do need to know. Now, Reform are currently predicted to secure 35.3% at the next general election, and that gives them an 82% chance of winning the seat of Merthyr Tydfil in Wales.
According to Electoral Calculus, Reform UK got 23.7% of the vote at the 2024 general election.
Well, GB News presenter Patrick Christys is currently heading to Merthyr Tydfil, which is quite brave of him because he was on air till heaven knows when last night, so he's had a very early start. Anyway, he's just sent us this.
We've got a very long but very important journey ahead of us. I'm going to go and spend the day in Wales, specifically Merthyr Tydfil. Now, there are some vital reasons why we're spending the day and the evening there, but I'm going to tell you what they are when I get on the train. I better get going now, because otherwise I'll miss it, so I'll see you in a sec.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, very good. Well, it'd be quite interesting, actually, because, I mean, it's such a Labour stronghold that if the polls continue in the way they are doing, is it going to be an indicator for what we could see and what's going to happen in May? I don't know. It is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
So, poor old Patrick.
Yeah.
No rest for the wicked, Patrick.
Oh, what did he do in a previous life? Now, if you are travelling, you may be travelling to work or school. Here's your traffic and travel update. And don't forget to stay with us, by the way, on digital and radio.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A82 south of Drumna-Drochit is facing restrictions in both directions due to a serious road traffic collision. Additionally, the A483 southbound between Coed Poeth and Rostillan is currently closed following another accident. Motorists on the M26 eastbound between Junction 2A and Junction 3 should be aware of a road traffic collision with one lane closed. On the trains, Great Western Railway is experiencing significant disruptions between Liskeard and Looe, while London North Western Railway is running a reduced service between Stafford and Crewe. Stay up to date with the latest travel updates, and for more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
It is my great pleasure to tell you about the Great British Giveaway now. It is. It is.
No, it's just the way you said with great pleasure. It's my great pleasure.
Well, it is, because you could get your hands on £85,000 in tax-free cash. Rachel Reeves can't touch it. And it could all be yours by the end of January. Here's the details.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. What would you say yes to? For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
The time is 9:20, which means that it is time to go through all the latest sports news with Paul Coyte, who is going to say something very, very quietly.
It's going quite well.
That's it. And moving on.
Thank you, Paul.
It's all going rather well at the moment in the Ashes. Second test at the Gabba in Brisbane. It's the pink ball. It's the day-night test. So it's the time now is 6:40 in the evening in Brisbane.
Right.
So to paint a picture, the sun is coming down, the floodlights are coming on, the pink ball is glowing. It is effervescent and glowing. That's exactly what it's doing.
Nice.
So England are currently...
Like a big old bath bomb.
That's exactly what it is, yes. And it's 190 for England, 194 for 4 at the moment. Considering we were 5 for 2, in the first over lost a wicket. To Ben Duckett was out, and then it was all looking very worrying. But now things are looking great. Zach Crawley got 76. Joe Root is 67 not out. He's never scored 100 in Australia. So that's touch wood. Eric Sykes.
You need a block of wood.
I do. I really do.
To actually be able to touch whatever you say touch.
But the thing is, that's the thing with sport. Everybody thinks that they are personally responsible for whatever happens in that team. It's like if only.
No. My sister is convinced that if she watches the rugby as it's happening, she influences. So it's much better if she's either if she's delayed by a bit, so that actually she can't influence.
It's crazy, isn't it? But everybody feels the same way about sport. It's insane. But maybe there is someone who influences everything that's going on, and I think that's me. So I'm going to just hush tongues. Ben Stokes, 13, not out so far. So we're looking okay at the moment. But it goes on for a few hours because it goes into...
Actually, I mentioned rugby. They've done a draw, haven't they?
Yeah, the draw for the Rugby World Cup, because the Football World Cup, the draw is in America tomorrow. So there's a big deal around that. But the Rugby World Cup...
Which has been for ages.
Well, this is it, the Football World Cup. So it happens next summer. So then they do the draw now, and then everybody knows where they're playing. The Rugby World Cup, now this is actually quite late for them. They usually do it 3 years in advance. And it just, I don't know. So this is 2027. Well, it's funny you should ask that, Penny, because I do have the reasons.
Comfortable position.
I do have the reasons. The first one is logistical planning.
OK.
So they have plenty of time. There are fan arrangements, so they can work out where the fans are going to go.
Like a mayoral election.
Exactly. Team preparation is another one, always very important, and commercial and financial security.
All right.
But if they can do it in football, why in rugby do they need 3 years to organise it? It just doesn't make sense, because...
More players.
Well, that'll be why. Those extra 4 players will make all the difference. 1st of October to the 13th of November 2027. This is going to be in Australia, and it is bizarre that they have to do it so early, because all the teams are seeded, but then in 2 years' time, you may get a team that's really good who may not be so good, which is what happened at the last one.
Why do they call it seeded as well?
Oh, that's one you've got me on. I've had so many explanations. Seeds.
Because a seeded loaf is lovely.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with that.
What's been drawn then? England versus Wales?
Correct, yes. So England will play Wales, Tonga.
Against the details.
And I forgot about that. Yeah, the draw. Enough of that. This is England are playing Wales, Tonga and Zimbabwe in their group. Scotland, Ireland, Uruguay, and the rugby powerhouse of Portugal will be in that one.
How long have they been playing? Do they always play rugby?
But things may change. Portugal in the next couple of years may have Cristiano Ronaldo may suddenly pick up a ball and start running with it, and things may change. But anyway, the World Cup draw is tomorrow, and we'll talk about that on the show tomorrow. But birthdays, do you want to do some birthdays?
Oh, yeah, very quickly.
OK, first one, Dina Asher-Smith. Dina Asher-Smith, 2019 World 200-metre runner. She is fast. How old is she?
20...
No, 2019. She's been around for a little while.
I'm going to say 31.
Really? Oh, 28.
30. Very good.
Go
with another one.
The right side.
We'll go with another one. Or who do we have? Oh, it's Ken Bates. Ken Bates, who was the chairman of Chelsea for many years, then went to Leeds, and quite an interesting character, Ken Bates. It was when Chelsea weren't, bought by Abramovich, of course. But anyway, there he is.
34.
34 for Ken Bates.
84.
94 is the answer.
But
he was 34 60 years ago today. What are the chances?
Well done.
Let's go with one more. Or maybe a couple more. Leandro Trossard from Arsenal winger. Plays for Belgium as well. We're still seeing Ken Bates. There's Leandro Trossard. I didn't want to do that because he scored against Spurs the other day.
He's 27.
27. He was 27.
31.
Is the right answer.
Oh, she shoots, she scores.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right.
One more, or we
No,
done?
we're out of time. I'm being yelled at.
Penny, you win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very
well,
good.
I don't like that very much.
I'll get a golden goose
You
for
will
me.
get a golden goose.
yeah,
Thank you very much indeed. Paul, thank you. Right, we've got the papers with Claire and Christo in a moment. First, though, here's a European forecast.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Heavy rain and strong winds across the eastern end of the Mediterranean, bringing some pretty heavy downpours across parts of Greece in particular during Friday, but also southern parts of Turkey with those gusty winds. Showers again for southern Italy, particularly for Sardinia and Sicily. The east coast of Spain and the Balearics looking largely dry and fine on Friday. Plenty of sunshine across the Canaries. That will continue as we head through the weekend, and things should calm down in Greece during the weekend as well.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racist tonight on the
unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, you compound that with the fact that across a lot of industries, AI is wiping out jobs at that entry-level stage. Like take lawyers, for example. Pretty much any job that any lawyer up to about 8 years experience can do can now be done by AI. Same goes across a lot of services. You know, there will always be bartenders, or at least until robotics takes that as well. But you compound these things, and I really do fear for the next generation of young people and the sense of purpose that they're potentially not going to have by just not having jobs.
But the minimum wage is rising for everyone, isn't it? It's because if you are going to employ people, it'll still be cheaper to employ 18 to 20-year-olds, won't it? Because they're still going to get paid less than other people. So I don't see why that's going to curb jobs for them. People still need to hire people. People still need people to do jobs.
Yeah, it's very difficult, though. I own a small business. I employ people. And it is difficult, you know, and this is why things like the black market are being so easily fed, especially with asylum sneakers hanging about.
Asylum sneakers?
Yes, that's what we call them now.
Yeah, we announced that yesterday.
Adidas Asylum.
That's what we.
That's what
they are now. Yeah.
I got a new brand. They wear refugees. But but this is.
You not get the email about that?
I did, mate.
By the way, the more you put the wages up, it just gets passed on to the customer. Well, if the customer can't afford to pay it because Rachel Reeves is taxing them, because the minimum wage has gone up and the business national insurance has gone up, we just hit a stalemate. This is what we've got. It's like the whole economy turns into moss.
Yeah, well, just sorry, because we don't have to whiz ourselves on, but on that note of everything else going up, food prices are apparently predicted to grow after the budget taxes as well. So for all this talk about you paying people more, well, if everything else costs more, then it doesn't really go anywhere, does it?
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
only on GB News.
Just before we have a look at the papers, let's head to our political editor, Christopher Hope, who's got some breaking news for us. Morning, Chris.
And Penny, yeah, some huge news here. Christopher Harborne, who's an aviation entrepreneur, has given £9 million to Reform UK. This is, by some stretch, a record donation to any political party by any living donor. It far outstrips previous big donations in the past to other parties. It meant that Reform UK pulled in more than twice as much in donations in the past quarter than Labour and the Tories. It is astonishing. It is a mind-blowing amount of money to be given to one political party, and it could be transformative if spent the right way. A big number. Politics is about money. All these parties have to try and somehow generate money themselves. There's no state funding in our politics away from funding work in opposition, called short money, so they have to raise money this way. This is significant. I was with a senior figure in the Tory party last night, and he was saying to me, what have Reform done on raising money? It didn't imply what he knew, but I wonder if he knew. This will wake up all of Westminster to the threat of Reform UK as it moves towards the election in 2029.
Thank you very much. Now we are going to quickly look at the papers with Christo and Claire again. And Christo, a lick from a dog makes teenagers happier adults.
Yes, and this is apparently. I think you've got it on your paper somewhere, haven't you? Have you got the? Because we've got the list over there. Could you
yes,
my memory of Telegraph,
sorry.
which is page 11. So let me just grab that for you. I was on a different page, but yeah, apparently if you get licked by your dog, then it makes you very, very happy when you are younger. When you get older.
Sorry.
Yeah, with the page is now missing from this one, which is quite annoying. But apparently it makes you happier as an adult if you were licked by a dog when you are a child. I hate my dogs licking me. I don't like it. I don't like the noise it makes, and I think it's quite unhygienic. I love dogs.
But I think that's what they're saying. They're saying that it's very good for your gut biome because, as we know, you're better off.
I'd rather be ill.
We're all animals, and we're better off with a biome that isn't stupidly sort of.
I would argue human beings aren't animals, and we, I would say we're actually. I wouldn't go around licking my teenager in the hope that it would make him happier or her happier when they were adolescents. But I'm particularly, exactly.
I think there's probably laws against that.
Well, yes, thank you.
But I think spending time around dogs at any age is going to make you a happier person, without a shadow of a doubt. And also, I think it's really good that younger people socialise with dogs, because I think it stops sort of them becoming psychos when they're older and thinking that they need to be cruel to them.
Yeah, it's also about having responsibility too, going out, taking the dog for a walk, etc.
Oh, that's true. What have you got for us, Claire?
Right, OK, we've got more than 25% of GPs are using ChatGPT for diagnosis.
No.
I think this is really horrific. We fell into the trap, or some of us did, of Dr. Google. We feed in our symptoms, it comes up with a diagnosis. We therefore went to our GP, presented with our homemade diagnosis and said, look, well, it turns out that GPs themselves are adopting a similar thing when they're keying in and you wonder when they're doing the telephone face-to-face or the face-to-face appointments, what they're actually doing. They're keying in what you're telling them and they're coming up with the answer.
No. So we just don't need them anymore?
Well, also, front page of the Telegraph, I think it is today, the Times, the increased diagnosis of ADHD in children, etc. This is so frightening. You need to follow the money on this, and you can actually override the NHS waiting lists by having a diagnosis. My goodness me, if we could only override NHS waiting lists for hip replacements, proper surgeries or things that we really need, instead of the increased rise in diagnosing children with things they don't actually have. Stop fidgeting and stop it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely had it during maths because I...
What, ADHD?
Well, I mean, I didn't. I'm just saying that you could have diagnosed me with that because I found maths so complicated and difficult, algebra in particular, just not general maths. But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We need a good dose
of when we're not
common sense and good dose of strong parenting. That'll sort it all out.
Oh, I tend to agree. Certainly for some cases. Christo?
OK, I'm annoyed by something.
Oh, good.
Go on, then.
Imagine you go, like, treat for Christmas, you go for a nice afternoon tea at the Ritz, wanting to see the Christmas lights and everything, very posh, very nice, once in a year treat, once in a lifetime treat, and then suddenly some anti-wealth protesters storm in and decide to throw manure under the Christmas tree. Well, that's what happened with yesterday with the Take Back Power protest group. They want to fix Britain's problems by taxing the rich even more. Don't they see what's going on in the news at the moment? I mean, are these people sort of chronically thick? I mean, we're being taxed more than we've ever been taxed, and they want to take 75% of people's wealth, if they are millionaires or billionaires, off them. right? Well, millionaires are leaving in their droves. With the highest taxes on record, the top 1% already pay nearly a third of our taxes. The top 10% pay nearly 2/3. What more do they want? I mean,
you know what's worse than all of this? It's going to be the minimum wage, zero contract, working class people that will have to clear that mess up.
Yeah.
The optic is so wrong, it's so deranged, and it's so undisputably.
Yeah. And also, there's going to be more security now as we're coming up to Christmas. There's going to be more security at any way you want to go in, just in case there are more people waiting.
Well, I know Jesus was born in a stable, but that's taking it a bit far.
Oh, did I like what you did there?
Right, time for one more, Claire.
Oh, right, where will we go to now? Move on, babyface. Singletons prefer the older look, right? Students in Glasgow from Strathclyde University were given pictures between the ages of 19 and 55 of people, right? Various sexes. And it turned out there was two questions that were asked. One question, who do you find attractive? And the other question was, if you're wanting children, who do you find attractive?
All right.
Completely different answers. The ones that were youthful looking were obviously, the most attractive. But those of us who were a bit maybe older in age, older in look, were actually those that were found to be wanting to be partnered with or have children with. So there you go. It's not all about the Instagrammable fillered face, the artificial look. The real deal will come through.
Yeah, well, that's why you.
No luck
that's
for
why
you,
I'm
I'm
not
afraid.
a parent, because I would be in the youthful category, and so that would be the problem.
That's a very good point.
Thank you. Thank you very
Keep looking
much.
for your own good. Right, you two, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Here's the weather.
Thank you, Britain, for making us the fastest growing news website in the UK. We're truly humbled, and we couldn't have done it without you.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A82 is closed in both directions between Drumnadrochit and Invermoriston at Groteg due to a road traffic incident. On the A483 southbound between Coedpoeth and Rostillan, there's been an accident, leading to road closures. In Middlesbrough, the A19 northbound entry slip from the A174 is experiencing partial closures after a road traffic collision. Meanwhile, in Kent, the M26 eastbound between Junction 2A and Junction 3 has one lane closed due to a collision. And on the trains, Grand Central services face disruption between Doncaster and Retford. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning. Is Labour delaying democracy?
Reports say that the government plans to postpone 4 key mayoral elections until 2028. It's a move that Reform UK is calling a blatant attempt to stop big wins for their party.
Well, the news unites the Conservatives and the Lib Dems as well. They're calling it a disgrace.
Ministers are expected to confirm the delays today, citing the need for more time to reorganise local authorities.
Safe in the country if just anyone can walk in. And I would also add what every Brit and every American these days unfortunately intuitively knows, which is that when you change the people who live in the country's values change too, the country's politics change too, the country's institutions change too.
Well, it's a blunt warning from the United States as a leading Trump official tells GB News the UK's small boat crisis is putting the country at risk and changing our values.
There's been an earthquake in northwest England, 3.3 magnitude earthquake, and residents said it was so strong that it shook houses.
Merthyr Tydfil, Labour's century-old stronghold, is poised for a dramatic political shift. If you look at the polls at least, Reform UK surging as locals voice anger over jobs, services and trust in politicians.
And in Kent, the residents there have finally got water, but residents have to boil every drop because South East Water has warned that contamination risks have re-emerged.
A bit of a damp start for many of us today, but it should get a little brighter with some winter sunshine on offer later. Tonight, a touch of frost and some fog, and there's more wet weather to come as we head towards the weekend. Join me later for a full forecast.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Penny Smith, and this is GB News Breakfast.
That earthquake is slightly concerning in the northwest, though I did get a message from my mother-in-law.
Oh, yes. What she said?
About an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, with a map showing how she's very close to the epicentre and obviously wanting us to cover it this morning, as we are doing, ma'am.
Yeah.
But I said, did you feel it?
Yeah.
No, she says.
Really?
So she slept through it.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah. Did you say you had been in an earthquake?
Yeah. Again, in the northwest. I got woken up by the bed shaking, and it's just weird because although there was no damage or anything like that, it's just when you think, when the earth is actually moving underneath your feet,
I know.
It's just a really odd feeling.
It is. It's a very, very peculiar thing, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. I know my parents were in one, and their clock stopped. They've got one of those irritating houses with sort of clocks ticking everywhere. No, and anyway, they just stopped. Yeah, all at the same time.
Yes, there you go. But anyway, let us know if you've been affected by that. Anyway, look, there's loads of politics going on. We're going to be talking to the government in just a moment. First, let's get the thoughts of our chief political correspondent, Catherine Forster, who's here in the studio, because of this hoo-ha over the mayoral elections, which the government decided that they needed to have these elections in 4 key areas, and they're now saying, we can't organise it in time. We're delaying it by a couple of years.
Yes, and this has happened before. I remember last year, Reform were absolutely furious because a whole load of local elections were being delayed. I mean, they did incredibly well anyway, didn't they, as we know? Sorry, that was this year, wasn't it? The world
it's going, I know.
So crazy now.
And also, by the time you've got to December, it's difficult to remember whether it was this year or last year.
But what we're talking about now is these are 4 new mayoral posts. Essex, Hampshire and Solent, Sussex and Brighton, Norfolk and Suffolk. So places that haven't had mayors, but there's a big reorganisation going on, and they're going to. Now, the government is saying, look, we need more time. They are having this huge reorganisation of local government. It is quite radical. They're just saying they're not ready, so they're going to postpone it for another 2 years. But as you would expect, other parties are universally furious. So Richard Tice of Reform have said it deliberate dictatorial cancelling of democracy. The Lib Dems have said democracy delayed is democracy denied. And just before midnight last night, I had a message from the team of the Conservative candidate for Hampshire and Solent, Donna Jones, saying it's clear that Labour are afraid to face the British public at the ballot box. So they are all very cross. They feel that it is a way, as they say, of avoiding democracy. The government are saying nothing to do here, but it just feels like a pattern, doesn't it? Every day there is another group of people very angry with the government about something or other, and the government will be trying to get out various messages today, but always it feels those messages are sort of getting lost by various groups of people's fury with them.
So earlier on we were talking about people being, people being on the front foot, and the thing is the Labour Party just seems to be permanently on the back foot. Never seems to. It does the. What we saw it was Rachel Reeves, come out and say we might be doing this, then backtrack on that, and it seems to be all of that sort of business. And at the moment, all the time, it's never a line in the sand. It's always a movable feast. And, they could easily have just said not even actually said 2 years. They could have just said postponed until we can sort everything out. But anyway, we're going to leave it there.
Yeah, we'll come back to you in a moment, Catherine. The reason we want to just move away from Catherine is because we can now finally talk to the Deputy Leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice. Richard, good to see we've got a connection with you at last. We'll blame the technology for all of this.
Good morning.
What do you make of this? Is there any legitimate reason why these elections should be postponed?
Fear. That's the reason. They're absolutely terrified of Reform winning all of these 4 mayoral elections, as we won 2 mayoral elections this May. And I think this is, I'm afraid, just the beginning, because there are county council elections in these areas as well next May 26th. And I think that it'll just be slipped out quietly, possibly in the coming months, that those are going to be cancelled as well, despite Angela Rayner having promised that they wouldn't. I mean, there's some 7.5 million people who are affected. And, I mean, generally it's dictators that cancel elections, not one of the finest democracies in the world, i.e. the United Kingdom. I mean, and the idea that, they need a bit more time to get organised, well, if the civil servants haven't got themselves organised, maybe they need to work a few longer hours in a day, maybe work a few weekends to get it sorted. That's what you do in the private sector. You've got a job to do, you've got a deadline, get it done.
Yeah, but the thing is that we all know, don't we, Richard, that if this actually is the reason, and I know you suspect that it isn't, but if this actually is the reason, and if it was chaos in May with the mayoral elections, then everybody be on the warpath again, saying that they couldn't organise a drinking session in a brewery. So if you look at it that side, and so much of we know that a lot of politics is more a mess up than a conspiracy. That could be it.
Well, if it's really that difficult to organise it for May the 7th, OK, maybe we could negotiate a 2 or 4 week extension. Fine. But the idea that you need a 2-year extension is clearly nothing to do with we're not quite ready, Gov. It's all to do with we're terrified of the progress of Reform. They're winning by-elections week in, week out in Labour heartland areas like Sunderland, as we saw just last Thursday. And they're actually conspiring with the Conservatives, where you've got council leaders from the Tory party who are writing to the government saying, please delay our own elections. I mean, it's horrendous, but it's sort of laughable in a strange way as to just what's going on here. It's literally turning a democracy into a dictatorship.
How important is it, though, that, I mean, whatever local councillors are doing, on a national level, you've actually got the backing of, well, backing's probably the wrong word, but you've got the Lib Dems and the Tories also saying this is a disgrace. So you're not standing out on your own, which is probably quite useful on this, isn't it?
Yes, obviously, in that sense, they're attacking this. None of us are buying the excuse here. This is just a government that is doing really badly in the polls, really badly, week in, week out in the by-elections, and it's terrified of another massive car crash next May after the car crash of the budget last week.
Can you tell us about this donation that we've talked about earlier on? This is a £9 million donation from the aviation entrepreneur Christopher Harborne.
Literally, just coming on air, I've been in meetings all morning, so that's sort of the. I was just hearing about it fresh. if that's true, then that's an extraordinary declaration of faith in Nigel's leadership, in reform, in our potential and our growth. It would be remarkable. So.
I mean, it could turn things. I'm going to say turn things around. I mean, you're riding high in the polls, but it could make a significant difference, that sort of money, couldn't it?
Of course, every political party is always out fundraising, and that could help us hugely over the coming years, and would be a fantastic base level of funding from which to continue to grow and succeed. Absolutely.
In terms of the party growing, what are we to think about what's going to happen with the Tories come the next election? There's this talk of a pact, even a non-official pact. There's talk
Merging.
There's talk of Robert Jenrick being a prime target for you. Now, Nigel's quoted in the papers as saying he wants to see a reverse takeover of the Tory party.
Yeah, basically, they should do the right thing and recognise that after 200 years, they've had the chance and they've blown it. And I don't think voters will forgive or forget the damage they've done. And they should stand aside and let us take on the socialists and defeat them lock, stock and barrel so that we can rescue our country, save the economy and get the economy growing again. That's the only way that we can start making people feel more prosperous. Everybody's getting worse off. The budget figures last week show that real disposable household income will decline every single year over the next 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, we need change, and the Tories have had their chance. They've blown it. It's time to let reform take it on, and this donation will be a really key part of helping drive that growth.
Just wanted to very briefly mention a piece in the Daily Telegraph today where, well, the headline is Farage denies inevitable pact with Tories, but it also says that recent polling has shown a slight downturn in Reform's share of the vote.
Yes, polls go up and down. We've obviously, I think we're now been ahead in the last 170 plus national polls. They'll bounce around a bit. The gap is always fairly consistent at sort of 8 to 10 points. But look, we mustn't be complacent. We keep pushing forwards. We'll get lots right. Inevitably, we'll make some mistakes. That's the nature of things. But we've got to just keep delivering. And if we don't deliver, then voters will say, thanks, I might want to look elsewhere. But week in, week out at the moment, in the polls that really matter, at the ballot box, we're doing remarkably well.
OK, Richard Tight, as always, it's really good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. With a lot of very strong criticism of the government from Reform UK there. What does the government have to say for itself? Minister for Children, Families and Wellbeing is Josh McAllister, and he joins us now from Westminster. Good to see you this morning. Is this government afraid of facing the British public at the ballot box?
Absolutely not. We have got elections that are going to be taking place in May. We've got areas of the country where they're setting up a new mayor and have got unitary local authorities already in place. They'll be going to the polls in 2027. And then these other combined authority areas have still got county councils and district councils. They've got to reorganise themselves. That's the reason they're being postponed.
But they are, as it currently stands, they're meant to be having as well as the mayoral ones, which looks like may be delayed, they're meant to be having county councils elections in those areas as well. Are you telling us that they too will be delayed?
I don't know the detail of that, but basically what we've got the country moving towards now is a UK-wide parliamentary elections. At a general election, there'll be strategic authority mayoral elections covering large parts of England, and then there'll still be councils. So there'll still be unitary local authorities that are going to the polls. Some of those will be going to the polls in this coming May, and then there'll be a combination of local authority and mayoral elections in 2027 and 2028. I do have to say the hypocrisy of Reform and the Conservatives criticising the government when it's trying to roll out devolution properly, having blocked Parliament having its say numerous times with prorogation back in 2019 is pretty staggering, and we won't take any lectures from either of them on that.
Right, so just to sort of crystallise this then, so some of the polls, some of the going to the polls will in May next year will not happen. Is that right? And then the mayoral vote will happen either next year or the year after. Is that right? Is that what you're saying? Sorry.
So we've got new mayors being set up across the country. Some of those mayors will be in areas where the local authority, the council that sits below the mayor's role, hasn't yet been reorganised because they're still in this old-fashioned system of having a district council and a county council. Putting reform with a mayor, as in reform of mayors, on top of that would be chaos. Now, what we see in Lancashire County Council and in Kent, with reform running both of those councils, is they are chaotic. What we want to do is get devolution right. So in areas of the country where they've still got districts and counties, they first of all need to put themselves into a unitary council, and then there'll be a mayoral election. That's the only reason this is happening. And as I say, it's pretty staggering, the hypocrisy from reform on this.
But forgive me, by the time it gets round to May next year, you will have been in power for basically 2 years. You've had 2 years to work on this, to get, and to get all these reforms through, and for these councils to all get changed. You're saying it's going to take, we've got to have another 2 years to sort it all out. I mean, some of these people could have been in power for 6 years, longer than a parliamentary term, by the time the local people get to have their say. That's not democratic.
Well, look, I really don't agree or accept the premise of that question. The last government had 14 years to sort devolution out, and they introduced a tiny number of new mayors. They've been really successful, but a tiny number. We are rolling out a revolution in devolution across this parliament, but it will take this parliament to get those changes rolled out. We're doing it in dozens of parts of the country.
And of course, I was just going to interrupt Josh, because I know we're against the time, but I was just thinking, if you knew that it was going to be this complicated, why on earth say that you were going to do it at a particular time? Why not actually, right at the beginning, say, and it won't be happening until we sort everything out, and that's possibly going to be 2028?
Because look, if you're serious about devolution, part of the deal here is that local areas need to get themselves ready and step up with their own responsibilities. That means councils taking their time to figure out how they get themselves from being districts and counties into unitary authorities. I represent a part of the world where we've been through local government reorganisation in Cumbria, so split Cumbria into 2 unitaries. That means that there will be a mayor elected in 2027. That's right and proper. But your viewers would be enraged with me and the government if we rush this through and caused major disruption to bin collection, pothole filling, children and adult social care. We need to get this right. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And the hypocrisy from reform on this is absolutely staggering.
Yeah, but the problem is the people who are going to be absolutely enraged by this are people living in areas where they may or may not be happy with their local authority, but they are unable to have their say. Their democratic right is being removed.
No, that's not right. Council elections will still happen. What we're postponing are mayoral elections. So that's where...
But hold on, we asked you a minute ago whether the county council elections in these areas, Greater Essex, Hampshire and Solent, Sussex, Brighton, Norfolk and Suffolk, would definitely happen, and you said you can't guarantee that.
Well, that's because of, sorry, this is getting really technical, but that's because of district and county councils merging into new unitary authorities and the dates that they pick for those elections. Like in Cumbria, for example, they had the election, but it operated in shadow form for a year before it was turned on as the new council. Step back from this for a moment. We're reorganising local government and strategic authorities as a country because everything's too centralised. That needs to be done with care, and it needs to be done methodically. That's all we're talking about here. People are still going to be going to the polls in May next year. They're going to be going to the polls in May the next year. We have local elections in this country all the time. That is not changing.
Right, just before you go, can I just ask you for your thoughts about the £9 million donation that we've been hearing about to Reform UK from Christopher Harborne, the aviation entrepreneur, and that is to Reform UK. I mean, this is another kick in the pants, isn't it, to Labour?
Well, I'm pleased they've got the money to now spend on going out to explain to the public why the leader of Reform in Wales has been convicted of treason and taking Russian money to go on the airwaves and stand in Parliament in Europe making talking points for the Kremlin. So they've now got some money. They can maybe go and spend some of it explaining to the country why that happened.
All right, we've got to leave it there. Josh McAllister, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks.
Let's just very quickly tell you about the giveaway. £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours for the new year. Here's how.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. What would you say yes to? For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to you now. Now, let's just tell you about the national polls with Reform UK. 35.3% they're predicted to get the next election. 82% chance of winning Merthyr Tydfil in Wales, which is a very important change. But if that happened, that would be significant. So let's hear from Patrick Christies, who we've sent to Merthyr Tydfil for the day.
Good morning, Stephen and Penny. How are you? It's an early start for me, but of course this is nothing for all of you guys. You're always up and about early doors, aren't you? Hello to all of the GB News breakfast viewers and listeners. Now, I'm on my way to Wales, specifically Merthyr Tydfil, and let me tell you why I'm going. We're a week on from this Labour budget. We're roughly speaking about 18 months into this Labour government. Now, Merthyr Tydfil is a traditional working class area. It's been a Labour stronghold for more than 100 years. In fact, it returned the first ever Labour MP in Wales, and that person was one Keir Harding, the first ever Labour Party leader, the man credited with founding the Labour Party. But now, this seat is predicted.
Oh, didn't it look nice and green out the window? Sorry, I was just looking at the scenery going past.
I'll tell you what, I mean, all hats off to Patrick. He's working hard, isn't he? He was on air till midnight last night. But it's going to be very interesting if somewhere that's been Conservative for such a long time
Labour.
starts to shift. It's been a long morning.
It has been a long morning, indeed it has. Yeah, exactly.
We'll be covering all of this sort of thing, of course, throughout the course of the morning. Andrew Pearce and Miriam Cates are with us this morning, ready for... you can hear that banging, that's Andrew.
Well, that's Andrew.
Coming into the studio. Is your mic on, Andrew?
Who knows? Who cares?
It is on. Oh, wait, it's on. So you can tell us what's coming up in the show.
Well, I don't think we are doing... I don't know if we're doing a trail, are we?
Yes, you're on air now,
Just chuck all that on the floor out the way.
You're on air now, so you might as well... So you just...
We're on air now?
Yes, we are, yes. You're with the...
That's professional, isn't it?
Well, yeah, so what is
It's live television, that's how it happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Andrew's not in a chatty mood.
Anyway,
but he will be here with Sophie Reaper, actually, who's on crutches.
Yes.
But anyway, so we're going to sort her out as well and get her sat down. But in the meantime, here's your weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome along to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Bit of a dull, damp start for many today, but generally brightening up through the day, and we should see some sunny spells. It's a bit soggy, though, first thing, particularly for parts of Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland, some heavy bursts of rain here. Much of the Midlands, eastern England, staying dull and damp all morning, but brighter skies already popping up across parts of Wales and southwest England. But as well as a bit of sunshine, we are going to see a few showers drifting into these areas. By the afternoon, much of the Midlands becoming cheerier. close to the east coast, it may well stay dull and damp for most of the day, and a bit chilly, certainly compared to recent days. Temperatures close to average, 7 to 9 degrees Celsius, but feeling cooler with the outbreaks of rain, which will linger perhaps across northeast Scotland well into the evening time. Elsewhere, we'll start to see more showers coming into southwest Scotland, but between the two, it should be a drier end to the day for southeastern parts of Scotland. Some clearer skies developing for a time in Northern Ireland, but notice there is more rain lurking out to the west. Much of England and Wales having a fine and dry evening, that rain finally pulling away from the east coast. But it will turn quite cold quite quickly. Certainly in the east, further west, there'll be more showers coming in this evening into West Wales. Some heavy bursts of rain again here, far from welcome because it's been so soggy recently. Further east, as I said, it will turn quite cold, and yes, there will be some frost forming across eastern areas. And as well as that, tonight we need to watch out for some fog across parts of central and eastern England in particular. Some dense patches of fog quite possible for Friday morning's commute, so that may take a while to clear away. Generally, it's looking like things will brighten up a little on Friday, but then look at this, more rain coming in, and again, coming into areas that the ground is very soggy indeed. So this rain far from welcome as it piles into western areas during Friday, bringing with it gusty winds as well. It will turn milder, but also wetter as we head into the weekend.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you so much for helping us to reach 8 million followers and subscribers across our social media channels. That's 8 million fearless Brits standing up for what really matters.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Be prepared for delays across UK roads today. Congestion on the A38 northbound between Burton-upon-Trent North and A5132 yields a 10-minute delay until late morning. An earlier accident causes disruptions on the A483 southbound between Rostillan and Coed Poeth. In Hampshire, the M3 eastbound between junctions 13 and 12 is reduced to 2 lanes after a road collision with a 15-minute delay. And on the trains, Grand Central services between Doncaster and Retford face disruptions, and road transport replaces trains between Liscard and Looe due to Great Western Railway issues. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's very scary the way that it's heading. I think AI has so many fantastic opportunities, but that when you remove the human out of it, nasty things can happen. And I think young people are being attracted to it because it's 24 availability, there's no judgment, so there's no embarrassment, and they're getting instant responses. So when you're removing the human out of the room, things go wrong.
Is this because adults have pushed this through? We just saw Keir Starmer there on a lectern at one of the many occasions where he's wanging on about how fantastic AI is and it's going to be in all the schools, it's going to transform everything. There's never anybody in the room that puts their hand up and goes, hang on a minute, have you thought this through? Have you actually thought about the negative consequences of this? We don't do that when it comes to technology, do we? We just push it through, Colin.
We are. We're literally just pushing it through. So I think on one hand, for having AI as a companion in a school, it's fantastic because then no child technically is getting left behind because it's like a personal tutor. But no one's putting in those guardrails to say, hang on a sec, when something goes wrong, how are we alerting someone? Who do we alert? And then what do we do about it? No one's actually asking those questions. And we're moving at such a fast pace. We are sprinting when really we should be walking.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about teenagers relying on AI now. You'll be seeing it, Colin. I mean, you're using. I have started to use it. I'm not denying it. I'm not a complete Luddite. I will go on if I want to come up with something creative, rather than starting with a blank page. I will go on to one of the AI sites and just ask some questions. And sometimes it just kicks you off with your creativity, or gives you some ideas which you can. But I am watching adults as well.
GB News, the People's Channel.
All too often, people will be sitting at home watching a press conference live, and they'll hear loads of questions being asked, and they'll be thinking, that's not my question. That's not my concern.
We don't care whose feathers we ruffle. We ask the questions that you want answering.
You're all standing on the street protesting and want to have an open discussion. My name's Patrick Christie's. I do a show for GB News in the UK. Is it possible to talk to you quickly?
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, this is the best view ever of Whitehall, looking out across all the tractor drivers of England who've come together to make their point.
Hello, so as you can see, I'm here in Westminster as the protest begins.
Yes, I'm very much in the thick of it.
Look, we're challenging narratives here at GB News, and that's what sets us apart.
Good morning to you. It's 9:30 on Thursday, the 4th of December. Live across the UK, Britain's newsroom with Andrew Pearce and Sophie Reaper.
Labour is reportedly set to postpone a string of mayoral elections until 2028, a move opponents call a blatant attempt to shut voters out. So is this sensible restructuring or a threat to democracy?
Well, 5.4 million people won't get to vote for a mayor next year, but the government says it's because government is too centralised and it's going to take time.
A 3.3 magnitude earthquake shakes home across northwest England, with residents describing a jolt so strong it shook their whole house.
Facial recognition cameras could be rolled out across cities, towns and even villages, but critics say it's turning Britain into a Big Brother state.
Merthyr Tydfil, a Labour stronghold in Wales for more than a century, may now be on the brink of a political earthquake as Reform UK is tipped to take the seat. So why are lifelong Labour voters turning away?
And after days without water supply, Kent homes have water again. But a renewed contamination warning means residents must boil it first. Well, good morning to you, Andrew.
Morning.
It's nice to be here.
Yes, very nice
on
to be with
Britain's
you.
Newsroom. Makes a change, doesn't it?
Certainly
There we
does.
go.
And we've got a lively 2.5 hours coming up, so stay with us. And as always, of course, we'd like to know what you think. Send your views and post your comments by visiting gbnews.com/your say. But first, here's your 60-second news update with Sam Francis.
Very good morning to you, 9:32. Well, the top story this hour, household energy bills are set to rise, but Ofgem insists the payoff is long-term savings. The regulator's £28 billion upgrade to Britain's gas and electricity networks will add